Hello students, now we are going to solve botany portion. Let's get started. So the first question is, study the following statement. We do have A, B, C, D, 4 statements and we need to find out the correct statement, correct option out of these 4 statements. So let's analyze all the statements one by one. Number 1 is, all the organisms including those in the plant and animal kingdom have species as the lowest category. So we do know that all the categories are into K, P, C, O, F, G, S. K stands for kingdom, P is phylum, this is class, order, family, genus, and then we have species. So species comes at the lowest category, which means it is a correct statement. Next is, some of the bacteria are autotrophic, that is they synthesize their own food from sugar. Yes, this statement is correct that bacteria are autotrophic. So in the autotropism, we can have either photoautotrophic bacteria or we can have chemoautotrophic bacteria, but they are not synthesizing their food from sugars. However, they are taking either sunlight or the energy from the chemical reaction. So this statement is your wrong statement. Then comes, in slime molds during unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiate and form fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. That is a perfectly correct statement. Then D statement is, during sexual reproduction, the fungi forms fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to formation of haploid spores. Again, perfectly correct statement. So out of these 4 statements, B is incorrect, rest all are correct. So answer will be your option number 4, which is only B is incorrect. Next question is, which of the following is not a part of the ground tissue system? So in the plant, we do have 3 different type of tissue system. Number 1 is epidermal tissue system, then we do have ground tissue system, then we do have vascular tissue system. In the epidermal tissue system, we have epidermis and different epidermal appendages like root hairs, like trichomes. In the vascular tissue system, we do have vascular bundles, which is my xylem and phloem. Then comes your ground tissue system. Everything except your vascular bundles and the epidermis will be under ground tissue system. So, in the ground tissue system, mesophyll, which is into the leaf, is a part, pericycle is the part, medulla or the pith is the part, but cuticle, which is on the upper side of the epidermis, is not the part of ground tissue system, it is the part of epidermal tissue system. So answer is option number 4. Okay. Next question is, which of the following flowers ensure assured seed set even in the absence of pollinator? So even in the absence of pollinator, assured seed set can be ensured only in one condition, which is cleistogamy. So we can have 2 different type of flowers. We have cleistogamous flowers, which are my closed flowers. Then we have the chasmogamous flowers, which are my open flower. So if a flower is closed, then always there will be autogamy. So this is basically into your cleistogamous flower. This is a line of NCERT, a very important line of NCERT. Multiple times PYQ has been asked from this particular line of NCERT. Answer will be option number 2, which is cleistogamous flowers. Next question is, which of the following statement regarding sex determination is incorrect? So we need to find out the wrong statement. Number 1 statement is, in birds, the female is heterogametic and the male is homogametic. Yes, in the case of birds, we do have female heterogamity, which means out of the male and female counterpart, the female has got presence of 2 different type of chromosomes. So it is perfectly correct statement. In humans, males produce 2 types of gamete with respect to the sex chromosome. In human beings, we do have male and we do have the female. Female has got XX chromosome, male had got XY chromosome. So again, it is a perfectly correct statement. Grasshopper exhibit X0 type of determination. In the grasshopper, male has X0. So basically here we do have 1 sex chromosome less than the female counterpart. So it is also a case of male heterogamity. Perfectly correct statement. Then comes option number D. For in honeybees, fertilized egg develop into male and unfertilized egg into the female. So basically in the honeybee, we do have a concept of haplodiploidy, wherein my male do have half the number of chromosomes than the female. So in the male, the condition is N. In the female, the condition is 2N. So female will be produced via fertilization among male and female gamete. Okay. So it is just the opposite. Fertilized eggs will develop into female, whereas unfertilized will develop into male. It is an incorrect statement. Question is asking about incorrect, so it is my correct answer. Next question we have, which of the following enzyme is not required during fermentation in the microbes? So fermentation can be either alcoholic fermentation or it can be lactic acid fermentation. So in both the cases, alcohol dehydrogenase is required, yes. Pyruvate dehydrogenase, it is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, which is basically required for the link reaction, which is my gateway pathway, which is my transition phase. So lactic acid dehydrogenase is required for fermentation. For fermentation, this is also required for fermentation. This one is not required for fermentation. It is required for link reaction or the transition phase. So the answer is option number 2, which is my pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Next question is, we do have two lists here. We have list 1, list 2. We have to match the columns. Number 1 is repetitive DNA, coding DNA, chromosome 1, chromosome Y. Repetitive DNA, major portion of the human genome is your repetitive DNA. Coding DNA is less than 2% of the genome only. Chromosome number 1 has the largest number of genes and chromosome number Y is the smallest, having the least number of the genes. So my A goes with option number 4, B goes with option number 3, C goes with option number 1 and D goes with option number 2. So the correct answer will be option number 1. Okay. Next question is, again, match the column type of question. We do have list 1 here and list 2 here. In the list 1, we have I gene, lac Z, lac A and lac Y. I gene basically codes for repressor. So it is going to synthesize for repressor protein. Lac Z codes for beta galactosidase enzyme, which will in turn basically going to hydrolyze lactose into glucose and galactose. Then we have lac A. This is going to translate for transacetylase. Okay. Then we have lac Y. Lac Y basically is going to form permease enzyme, and this enzyme basically permeates, it allows or permeates the entry of beta galactosidase enzyme. Okay, so in the question we have been given entry of beta galactosidase, perfectly correct matching. So A goes with option number 4, B goes with option number 3, then C goes with 1 and D goes with option number 2. So the correct answer will be your option number 3. Okay. Next question is, select the incorrect statement for maize plant. Incorrect means wrong statement. Number 1, production of C3 acids in the bundle sheath cell. So in the maize plant, basically, it is a C4 plant wherein we do have Crane's anatomy. In the Crane's anatomy, we do have mesophyll cells, then we have bundle sheath cells. In the mesophyll cell, there is presence of a more efficient enzyme called as pepcase. In the bundle sheath cells, we do have presence of our normal Rubisco enzyme. Okay. So first statement, production of C3 acid in bundle sheath cell, perfectly correct, because in the bundle sheath cells, we do have presence of Rubisco. Okay. Formation of phosphoenol pyruvate in bundle sheath cell. PEP is going to be formed into your mesophyll cells. So it is my incorrect statement. There is lack of photorespiration in the C4 plants. Basically, they avoid photorespiratory losses. So it is a perfectly correct statement. Occurrence of C3 pathway in the bundle sheath cell, perfectly correct statement. So out of the 4, option 2 is incorrect, which means it is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question, which is, we do have again 4 statements here and we have to find out the combination of correct statement out of the 4 statements which are given. So the first statement is, epicotyle of monocot embryo has a shoot apex and a few leaf primordia enclosed in a hollow foliar structure which is coleoptile. Perfectly correct statement. Then we have Mendel investigated characters in garden pea plant that were manifested as two opposite traits. Yes, all of them were having contrasting traits. All of them were having contrasting traits which are my either or character, either tall or dwarf, nothing in between, either round or wrinkled, nothing in between. Okay, perfectly correct statement. Option C, when a phosphate group is linked to OH of 5 carbon of nucleoside through phosphoester linkage, a corresponding nucleotide is formed. Perfectly correct statement. The beads on a string structure in chromatin are packaged to form chromatin fiber that are further coiled and condensed at metaphase stage of cell division to form chromosome. Again, perfectly correct statement. So all the 4 statements are correct. Hence, answer has to be option number 4, which is A, B, C, D. All of them are perfectly correct statement. All right. Next question. Which region of the primary dicot stem are made up of simple mechanical tissue? Simple mechanical tissue is my colon chymatous tissue. It is my colon chyma. So, my hypodermis as well as pericycle, both of them will be having presence of my colon chyma. So, answer will be option number 3. Moving on to the next question, we do have 2 statements here. Number 1 statement is, in replication unit of DNA, one strand act as a template while another act as a coding strand. Whereas in the replication, we do not have a concept of template and the coding. Both of the strands are participating in the process. In the transcription, out of the 2, we have one which is acting as a template, second will be as a coding strand. So it is an incorrect statement. Then we have second statement, nucleic acid polymerase enzyme can be classified on the basis of chemical nature of the template, yes, and the nature of nucleic acid synthesized from it. Yes, of course, perfectly correct statement. Depending upon template only, we do have DNA dependent DNA polymerase, RNA dependent DNA polymerase. So that is purely, or we can say solely based upon the template that we are going to choose. It is incorrect, it is correct. So first is incorrect, second is correct statement. Answer has to be option number 3 here in this question. Next one. Select the correct statement for the given organism. This is a diagram taken up from the NCERT. This is a pteridophyte. So, question is asking me about the pteridophytes. It is a heterosporous. In the pteridophyte specifically, we do have Selaginella and Salvinia. Both of them are heterosporous. Majority of the pteridophytes are homosporous. Incorrect. Amphibians of plant kingdom, these are my bryophytes, not the pteridophytes. It produces independent dioecious male and female gametophyte. Again, tracheophyte without seeds. Tracheophyte means there is presence of vascular bundle. So, my pteridophytes are the first tracheophyte. These are the first one wherein vascular bundle started to be incorporated. So, these are the tracheophytes. Yes, there are no seed formation happening. Seed habit has been developed, but seeds are not being formed. Seeds will be formed via gymnosperms. In the gymnosperms, we do have seeds. In the angiosperms, we do have seeds. Okay. So, correct answer is option number 4 here. Next question is assertion and reason type of question. We do have assertion statement which says in Drosophila, genes of body color and eye color did not segregate independently of each other and F2 ratio deviated significantly. So, in the case of Drosophila, there was a proper linkage. There was a physical association due to which we were not able to see the exact ratio, which is 9:3:3:1. There was a deviation from the ratio. Okay. So, this is a correct statement. Now, if the reason gives like why this deviation is happening, then it will be option number 1. So the reason is in Drosophila, genes of body color and eye color are showing physical association, which is linkage. It is all because of linkage that we are going to see more of the parental characters and less of the recombinants. So perfectly correct statement. And this R is the correct reason of the assertion as well. So answer has to be option number 1. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of assertion. Okay. Next question. Which of the following are correct regarding the cyclic photophosphorylation? So cyclic, it occurs into stroma thylakoid. Yes, of course. photolysis of H2O, this happens into your non-cyclic photophosphorylation, because in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both the photosystems PS1 and PS2 both are involved. So initially from the PS2, electrons will be excited and they will be going to the pheophytin. Now the electrons will be traveling to different electron carriers. There will be deficiency of electron into photosystem 2. For that we would require to basically go for photolysis of water. So in the cyclic it is not happening. Then comes excited electron is cycled back to PS1. Yes, perfectly correct statement. That is why we are calling it as a cyclic photophosphorylation. Electrons are transported to NADP. There is no NADP formation, only ATP is going to be formed. It involves only PS2, perfectly correct. So A, C and E, these statements are correct, rest of them are incorrect. So answer is option number 1. Okay. Next question. Arrangement of A, B, C, D genes on a chromosome with the map unit. So basically into this question we have been given values of different genes which we have to map out. So to solve such kind of question, what we should be doing, we have to find the maximum value. Okay, so we have been given A, D 4 centimorgan, B, C 1 centimorgan, A, B 7 centimorgan, C, D 2 centimorgan, A and C is 6 centimorgan. So the highest value is AB, which is 7 centimorgan. So we're gonna draw it like this. This is A, this is B, and the distance between A and B is my 7 centimorgans. Okay, perfect. Now, less value than this is my 6, which is A and C. So we have A, over here we can have C. So this is my 6 centimorgans, correct? Perfect. Then it is 4. A and D is my 4. So this is my A. Then over here we can draw, let me just change the color. We can draw over here D, which is my 4 centimorgans. Perfect. Now we can see next is C and D, which is 2 centimorgans. This is C, this is D. So we know this is 6, this is 4. It comes out to be my 2 centimorgan automatically. Then we have A and C is 6, B and C is 1 centimorgan. So again, this is entire is 7, A and C is 6. This is my 1 centimorgan, of course. Now, see, once you will finalize the higher values, the lower ones will automatically fit in. So the sequence of the genes here is we have A, then we have D, then we have C, then we have the B. So we have A, D, C and B. So the correct answer will be A, D, C, B, which is option number 1. Okay. Moving on to the next question. The following is a grazing food chain. We have phytoplankton, zooplankton, fishes, and then we have birds. Okay. In the above chain, the bird is, what is the bird? A. And then if the net secondary productivity NPP at fish level is 20, then GPP of phytoplankton is what? Okay. So first of all, this phytoplankton is producers. These are the primary consumer, secondary consumer, and these are my tertiary consumers. So A is my tertiary consumer. Okay. Now moving on to the values. At fish level, at this level, we do have 20 kilojoules. Perfect. We do know it follows 10% law. So if it is 20, it is 200, it has to be 2000. So the net primary productivity is my 2000 kilojoules. But the question is asking me about your GPP. Now what is GPP? Your NPP, which is net primary productivity, will be gross primary productivity minus respiration. Respiration has been given, R is 20% of the GPP. It is my 20% of GPP. So 80% of it is my GPP. So it is 500. The value will be 500 kilojoule. So it is my tertiary consumer and B is 2500 kilojoule. Answer is option number 2. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Again, match the column type of question. We have column 1, column 2. Column 1 is pollination services. B is food crop, sacred groups, and then we have cryopreservation. So pollination services, it is a broadly utilitarian thing. Okay. Food crops, it is a narrow kind of thing. Sacred grooves, these are the in situ conservation, and cryopreservation is a method of ex situ conservation. Very simple question. A was with 1, B 2, C 3, and D will be at 4. A 1, B 2, C 3, and D is at 4. Answer is option number 1. Okay, the next question is, we do have two statements here, statement number 1 and statement number 2. In photophosphorylation, it is the light energy that is utilized for production of proton gradient required for phosphorylation. Okay, in photophosphorylation, it is the light energy. So in the photophosphorylation or the non-cyclic or cyclic reactions, we say light energy is being utilized for production of proton gradient required for phosphorylation. Okay, then the number of ATP molecules synthesized during respiration depends on the nature of electron donor. Both the statements are perfectly correct statements. So answer has to be 1 and 2, both are correct statements. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is, in which of the following aspects does the dorsiventral leaves not differ from isobilateral leaves? Okay, so what are the what are the similarities between these two, dorsiventral and isobilateral? Number 1 is orientation on stem. Okay, number 2 is differentiation of mesophyll. So differentiation of mesophyll will be different. In the dorsiventral, we do have spongy and palisade. In the isobilateral, we do not have any differentiation. Distribution of stomata is also different. Here we have equal distribution, here we have the differences. Types of vascular bundle will be same. In the both the types, we're going to have conjoined and closed types of bundle, and position of xylem and phloem will also be same. Venation type will also be different in both of them. Okay, so in the dicot or dorsiventral, we have reticulate type. In the isobilateral, we do have the parallel type. Okay, so D and E has to be the correct answer, which is option number 4. Okay. Next question. Select the incorrect statement for the given structure. We need to find out wrong statement. So see, if you look at this diagram, this is a typical structure of embryo sac, wherein these two are my synergids and this A is basically my filiform apparatus. A is my filiform apparatus. Okay. Then we have this B, which is my egg cell. This is my egg cell. Okay. This C is my polar nuclei. It is polar nuclei. This D is my antipodals. Perfect. Now let's see the options. A helps to guide the entry of pollen tube. Perfectly correct. It is the function of filiform apparatus, which are my finger-like projections, and they are helping in guiding the entry of pollen tube. B, which is this one, converts into an embryo after fertilization. Yes, of course, egg cell is going to fuse with the male gamete and that is going to form a zygote. Zygote will mature into embryo. Perfectly correct. C converts into cotyledons in a mature seed. C is going to convert into primary endosperm nucleus first and then endosperm. It is a wrong statement. The diagram represents the female gametophyte of flowering plant, which is also called as embryo sac. Perfectly correct statement. So option number 3 is incorrect. So it has to be the correct answer, which is option number 3. Perfect. Next question is, we do have two lists here. List 1, list 2, match the column type of question. Oxaloacetic acid, phosphoglycolic acid, lactic acid, isocitric acid. So oxaloacetic acid is my 4-carbon compound, phosphoglycolic acid is my 2-carbon compound, lactic acid is my 3-carbon compound, isocitric acid is my 6-carbon compound. So it is A1, B3, C2 and D will be 4. Okay, so answer will be option number 3. Okay. Perfect. Next question. Given below are the two statements. We have been given two statements and we need to find out the correct answer. Number 1 statement is, the BOD test measures the rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water. Then number 2 statement says, baculoviruses are excellent candidates for species-specific narrow-spectrum insecticidal applications. Both the statements are perfectly correct statements. So answer is option number 1. 1 and 2 both are correct statement. Next question is, which of the following statement are correct? Okay. Option number 1. Color blindness is a sex-linked recessive disorder in which the affected individuals fail to differentiate between red and the green color. Perfectly correct statement. That's what a color blindness is. Then we have sickle cell anemia is caused by substitution of glutamic acid into the valine at sixth position of beta globin chain. Perfectly correct. So in sickle cell anemia, we do have a point mutation wherein there is a change of just one single nucleotide, due to which the entire amino acid has been changed. Okay. Down syndrome excuse me, occurs due to the trisomy of chromosome number 21 as a result of non-disjunction. Yes, Down syndrome is trisomy of 21st number of chromosome. Individual exhibiting Klinefelter syndrome have 44 autosomes and only 2 sex chromosomes. This is a wrong statement. In the Klinefelter, we do have XXY condition. Okay, so the person who is having Klinefelter will be having gynecomastia condition, which is development of breast will be there. At the same time, testicles will also be there. Okay, so this condition is because of XXY. This is a wrong statement. Phenylketonuria is due to the deficiency of an enzyme that converts phenylalanine into tyrosine. Perfectly correct. So A correct, B correct, C correct, E correct, D is not correct. Okay, so it has to be option number 1. A, B, C and E are correct. D is incorrect. Okay. Next question. Homologous chromosomes separate while sister chromatids remain associated at their centromere in. So when we speak about meiosis, in the meiosis, basically it is into 2 stages. Number 1 is my meiosis 1, then we do have the meiosis 2. 1, then we have meiosis 2. In the meiosis 1, we do have prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. So, in the meiosis 1 stage specifically, in prophase, my homologous chromosomes are going to align together. They are going to align with the help of synaptonemal complex, specifically in the zygotane stage. So, when these homologous chromosomes will enter into the metaphase stage, again, homologous chromosome will be on the equatorial plate. When they will enter into the anaphase stage, at that time, homologous chromosomes are going to separate. Thereby, in this meiosis 1 condition only, my 2 haploid cells will be created. So, this is happening in anaphase 1 stage. Answer has to be option number 3, which is anaphase 1. Perfect. Next question is, which of the following is not a cause of proton gradient development in chloroplast? Okay. This is asking us about the chemiosmotic hypothesis. So splitting of water, which is photolysis, one of the crucial factor of proton gradient. Pumping of H plus from the stroma to the lumen, again one of the crucial. So we do have plastoquinone. There are certain electron acceptors which actually behaves as hydrogen donor as well. So they are going to, pass on the electron. At the same time, they will be pushing H plus from stroma to the lumen side. Okay, perfectly correct statement. Oxidation of NADH plus H plus and FADH2. There is no involvement of FADH2. Activity of FNR. Yes, activity of FNR wherein your NADH2 has been formed. That is also a contributing factor for development of proton gradient. Option number 3 is not a factor. So answer is option number 3 here in this question. Next question is match list 1 and list 2. So we have column 1 here, column 2 here. We have number 1 abscisic acid, then we have ethylene, we do have cytokinin, we do have auxin hormone. Okay, abscisic acid, which is also called as a stress hormone. It is also called as a stress hormone. So it will inhibit the seed germination process. Ethylene is basically known for the ripening. So it is going to break seed and bud dormancy. Cytokinin is going to delay the leaf senescence process. And auxin basically is also acting as a herbicide. So we do have A, option number 2. We have B, 4, C, 1 and D will be with option number 3. So answer is option number 1 into this question. Okay. Next question. Which of the following trait is exhibited in both homozygous and heterozygous state? So, if we speak about any trait which can be expressed into both the condition, that has to be my dominant, because only the dominant trait can express itself into both the condition, be it homozygous or heterozygous. Okay, my recessive can express only into homozygous condition. Perfect. Terminal flower is a recessive trait. Exile flower, however, is my dominant trait. White flower is a recessive trait. Violet flower is my dominant trait. Green seed is my recessive. Yellow seed is my dominant trait. Then green pod, it is my dominant trait, okay? And yellow pod is my recessive trait. So the dominant is going to express into both homozygous as well as heterozygous conditions. So answer is option number 4. Next question. Given below are the two statements. One is assertion, then we have reason. Assertion. Accessory pigments enhance the rate of photosynthesis in higher plants. Okay, it is going to enhance the process. Why? Because they will absorb wavelength of light that are not efficiently absorbed by the chlorophyll, and they will pass it to the chlorophyll molecule into the reaction center. So both of them are perfectly correct statement, and this R is the correct reason also. Answer is option number 1. Next question is, we have again two statements. Statement number 1 says, embryo develops at the micropyle end of the embryo sac. Yes, at the micropyle we do have presence of two synergids and one egg cell is there. So male gamete will come and fuse with the egg cell, and it is going to form a zygote. Zygote will develop itself into embryo at a micropyle end only, okay. Number 2, central cell after triple fusion becomes the primary endosperm cell. Both the statements are perfectly correct statement. Answer is option number 1. Next question. We have match list 1 and list 2. So we have column 1 and column 2. Predation. Predation is a relationship wherein one's life is at stake. We have a predator, we have a prey. So predator will be plus, prey will be minus. So one organism kills another for food requirement. Competition, wherein both the participating species are negatively affected. This is my competition, detrimental to both the species due to limited resources. Mutualism, it is a state wherein both the participating species are, mutually benefited. It is a symbiotic association. So both the species show increased fitness. Then we have commensalism, a condition wherein one get benefited and other is unaffected, okay. Excuse me. A is option number 3, B is option number 2, C option number 4, and D is option number 1. So answer we can match, it is option number 1, okay. Next question is, which of the following is not concerned with gibberellin? Bolting, yes. Seed germination, yes. Delay of senescence of fruits, yes. Thinning of flower and the fruit is not concerned. So it is my correct answer. Then we have next question. Again, match the column type of question, column 1 and column 2 we do have. In the column we have number 1, which is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So my RER or rough endoplasmic reticulum is going to form ribosomes, and SER is involved into lipid synthesis, okay. So it is going to synthesize lipid. Lysosome, which is also called as suicidal bags. It is responsible for digestion of carbohydrates. Cytoskeleton gives the mechanical support. Centriole are involved into spindle apparatus formation. Hence, they are participating into the cell division process. So, A is option number 1, B goes with option number 4, C with option number 2, and D is with option number 3. Okay, correct answer is option number 2. Okay, perfect. Next question is, in a tree ecosystem, a single large tree supports a large number of insects. We do have a single large tree supporting the large number of insects, which in turn supports a small number of small birds, which further supports an even smaller large bird. So we have large, small, and then small. It is, what type of pyramid is this? It is my spindle-shaped pyramid. Okay, this is a typical example given into NCERT. Okay, next is, choose the correct option. Arrange the following event of aerobic respiration for one molecule of glucose in chronological manner. Okay. So for aerobic respiration, the first stage which is there is glycolysis. Then we do have the Krebs cycle. In between that, we have a link reaction, then Krebs cycle. Okay. So let's find out first of all about the glycolysis. Oxidation of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. It is a step involved into glycolysis. Okay. Then oxidation of malic acid. This is into the Krebs cycle. Okay. Then decarboxylation of pyruvic acid. This is into link reaction. Oxidative decarboxylation of isocitric. This is into Krebs cycle. Okay, so one thing is clear. A, then we have C. What about B and D? So in the Krebs cycle, we do have molecules, the different molecules which are participating in an order which is C, C, I, O, K, S, S, F, M, O. Citric acid, cis-aconitic acid, isocitric acid, oxalosuccinic acid, alpha-ketogluteric acid, succinyl coenzyme A, succinic acid, fumarate, malate, and then we have oxaloacetic acid. So according to this particular sequence, basically this is going to form first, then this one. So A, C, then D, and then we have B. A, C, D, and B. Answer is option number 4. Okay. Perfect. Next question. The disappearance of a specific pollinator insect leading to extinction of a plant species that depend exclusively on it. So if both of them, collectively they are going to extinct together, we call this as co-extinction. Okay. Answer is option number 4. Next question is assertion reason type of question. Assertion, C4 plants have greater productivity of biomass. Yes, of course, because they are able to avoid photorespiratory losses. So reason says C4 plant lack a process called as photorespiration. Perfectly correct. See, in the C4 plants, we basically have two adaptations. Number one is Crane's anatomy, according to which we have two different type of cells. We have mesophyll cell, we do have bundle sheath cell. Both of them are into a circular way, correct? Then second modification is presence of dimorphic chloroplast, which is we do have granule as well as agranule type of chloroplast. Okay, so both the statements are correct. So answer is option number 1. Both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation as well. Okay, next question. In papaya, dioecious condition prevents. So what is dioecious? Dioecious means we do have presence of two horns for both the sex organ. So two horns for both the sex organ. So one plant do have presence of one sex organ, which is my male, and second will be having the female sex organ. So if we have two separate plant bearing male and female sex organ respectively, so it will be able to avoid autogamy, which is pollination within the flower, as well as geitonogamy, which is pollination among two flowers of the same plant. So it is going to avoid auto as well as geitonogamy. Perfectly correct statement. Then we have next question, two statements, and we need to find out the correct statement. RNA was the first genetic material. Yes, and the DNA has evolved from RNA with chemical modification. Both the statements are correct. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. There are certain modifications which has been done, and then DNA has been formed. So both the statements are correct. Answer is option number 1. Next question. Choose the correct option with respect to the image. This is the image of dinoflagellate. Okay, now the options are: the above organism is a member of chrysophytes. In the chrysophytes we have diatoms and desmids, whereas we have diatoms and we have desmids, and this one is my dinoflagellate. Let me write it here. It is dinoflagellate. Okay, so cannot be the answer. The above organism is generally mostly found in freshwater environment. The above organism contains cell wall that has stiff silica plates on the outer surface. It causes red tide. Yes, this is a typical feature of my dinoflagellate. Answer is option number 4. Next question, we again have two statements, statement 1 and 2. Number 1 says humidification leads to the accumulation of a dark color amorphous substance called as humus. Yes, perfectly correct statement. Humus is highly resistant to microbial action and decomposes very slowly. Both of them are correct statements. So answer is both the statements 1 and 2 are correct. Next question is sclerenchyma cells are. Sclerenchyma. Basically these are also called as dead mechanical tissue. These are also called as dead mechanical tissue, which provides what? Which provides mechanical strength. Okay, so it is dead, thick walled, provide mechanical strength. Answer is option number 4. Okay, next question is, in sickle cell anemia, defective altered mRNA has which genetic code for amino acid valine? So basically, here GAG will be converted into GUG. Okay, there is this 1 point mutation which is happening. So converted to GUG. Answer has to be option number 4. This is converted to this one. Okay, glutamic acid to valine. There is conversion. Next question is, we have to arrange the following events of translation in chronological manner. Okay, first statement is amino acylation of tRNA, which is also called as charging of tRNA, wherein we are going to attach the subsequent amino acid to the tRNA. So that will be based upon the anticodon which is there onto the tRNA, and thereby we are going to attach amino acid to it. Okay, then encounter of the small subunit with mRNA. Okay, joining of initiator tRNA, perfect. Joining of charged tRNA on A side, and then there's peptide bond formation. So this very sequence is perfectly correct sequence. A followed by B, then C, then D, and then it has to be E. A, B, C, D, E has to be the correct answer. Okay. Next question. In the next question, we do have presence of 2 statements. Number 1 statement is, radial type of vascular bundles are present into anatomy of roots. Very simple. R4 roots and R4 there will be radial type. Okay, perfectly correct statement. Number 2 says, conjoint, collateral and open type of bundles are present into monocot. In the monocot, there has to be presence of closed type of bundle. Because cambium is absent here, it says open type of bundle. Open type will always be into my dicot, not into the monocot. Okay, so this is a wrong statement, this is a correct statement. 1 is correct and 2 is incorrect, has to be the correct answer, which is option number 3. 1 is correct and 2 is incorrect. Okay, perfect. Next question, study the following and identify the incorrect or the wrong statement. Perfect. Number 1 is, loose tissues are present in fungi. Perfectly correct statement. Bacteria shows the most extensive metabolic diversity. Perfectly correct, given in the NCERT. Bacteria do have a variety of autotropism as well as heterotropism. Perfectly correct statement. Heterotrophic bacteria are less abundant in nature. NCERT says that majority of bacteria are heterotrophic. Okay, so this statement is a wrong statement. Pigments of euglenoids are identical to those present in higher plant. Perfectly correct statement. C is incorrect, rest all of them are correct. Answer has to be option number 3. Perfect. Next question, the major limiting factor for photosynthesis in plants under natural condition. The major is always carbon dioxide concentration. Okay, so answer is option number 1. Easy question. Next question is, how many statements are correct from the following list? We do have presence of 5 statements. Number 1 is, nucleus as a cell organelle was first described by Robert Brown. Yes, Robert Brown sir has discovered nucleus as an organelle, which is basically acting as a brain of the cell. Okay. Second is, the interphase nucleus of a cell, when it is not dividing, has highly extended and elaborate nucleoprotein fibers called chromatin. Perfectly correct statement. When it is in the dividing stage, we call this chromatin as chromosome, because there will be condensation happening into this chromatin material only. Next is, outer membrane of the nucleus usually remains continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum and bears ribosome. Yes, outer membrane has got presence of ribosomes, thereby we call it RER, rough endoplasmic reticulum. Correct statement. Some mature cells lack a nucleus, which is erythrocytes of many mammals and sieve tube cells of vascular plant. Perfectly correct statement again. The nuclei are spherical structures present in the nucleoplasm of the nucleus. This is also correct statement. All 5 of them are the correct statements. So answer has to be option number 2, which is 5 statements. Okay, perfect. So this is about botany. We will meet in the next class. Stay tuned, bacho. Take care and all the best for your exam.
Hello everyone, so this is Dr. Priyanka De, and now let's discuss the questions of zoology. So be careful with the numbers of the question because the questions were mixed. So let's see what is the first question of zoology. So the first question, 92 Which of the following statements regarding hormonal functions during the human menstrual cycle is correct? So pay attention to the statements which are correct, right? So whenever you are solving such type of questions, make sure that you pay attention to correct, incorrect, true, false, except. So these types of terms are important. Now, luteinizing hormone directly stimulate the proliferation of the endometrium during the follicular phase, which is wrong. Now, progesterone secreted after ovulation maintain the endometrium for implantation and inhibit further ovulation. That is absolutely true. Follicle stimulating hormone is primarily responsible for maintaining the corpus luteum during the luteal phase. So this is LH that maintain the corpus luteum, and estrogen levels decline sharply just before ovulation. So remember that for ovulation, LH is responsible, FSH and estrogen levels should also be high. So for this, correct answer should be 2 or B. Coming to the next question, 94. Which of the following statements are true for mollusca but not true for echinodermata? So if you can recall, mollusca and echinodermata are two different phylums. Now, presence of mantle that secrete a calcareous shell. So we know that mantle is present in mollusca and will form the shell. So this is true. Body exhibit bilateral symmetry in adult stage is also true. Presence of radula for feeding. So radula is file-like organ in the mouth of mollusca that will help in scraping the food, right? So radula is also true. Water vascular system not there in echinodermata, and feather-like gills perform both respiration and excretion. So if you can recall, it is the Ctenidia. Ctenidia, feather-like gills, which is present in the mental cavity of mollusca, and that will perform both respiration and excretion, right? So we have B, C and E as the correct answer. That means the correct answer is 4. Okay, be careful with such type of question. Answer will be 4. Let's move on to the next question. Next is 95. Statement 1 says a coenzyme or a metal ion that is tightly bound to an apoenzyme is called a prosthetic group. So when we talk about a cofactor, right? Now, a cofactor can be organic or inorganic. Now, when we talk about cofactors, right, organic mostly will include prosthetic group and coenzyme, and inorganic will include the metal ion. So, when we talk about the prosthetic group, now this prosthetic group will be tightly attached to the apoenzyme part, whereas the coenzyme, which are usually vitamins, will be loosely attached to the apoenzyme part. And when we talk about inorganic cofactors, that include metal ions, right? So it will be forming coordinate bonds, right? So yes, that was true. Now, a complete catalytically active enzyme, when it's bound prosthetic group, is called holoenzyme. So holoenzyme will definitely include apoenzyme and the cofactor. So this is also true. So both the statements are true. Correct answer will be 1. Let's move on to the next question. So this is the next question on your screen, question number 96. Which of the following represent a limitation or drawbacks of assisted reproductive technology? Question from the chapter Reproductive Health. It is universally affordable and easily accessible. Yes, it may involve ethical and legal concern. Now, this is the drawback, right? So, this is the drawback, right? Now, it completely replaces natural fertilization in humans. It's fine. It eliminates the need for hormonal regulation. All are fine, but this is the drawback. So, answer here should be 2. Next question. Now we have a very good and interesting match the following type of question. In list 1, we have ciliated epithelium. So it will help in the movement of mucus and particles. Hepatic ceca of cockroach. Now it helps in secretion of digestive enzyme. So A is matched with 1, B is matched with 2. Dense regular connective tissue. It includes tendons, ligaments, right? So tendons with parallel collagen fibers and fat bodies of frog, storage of lipid. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We got our answer. Correct answer should be 1, right? So correct answer is 1. Let's move on to the next question. Remember students, the questions which are given here, right, and that came in your test were very, very good question, and sometimes you will see that even one question might be asked in two forms in your NEET examination. So remember that multiple statement based questions, assertion and reason type of questions, and such questions in which you have statement 1, 2, which ones are correct, which ones are incorrect, and match the following type of questions. Now these are the questions that you need to practice now to improve your score in NEET examination, right? So assertion says, for BT plant, the choice of genes, that is cry genes, depend on targeted pest. Absolutely correct. BT toxin are insect group specific. So specific cry gene will be introduced in the plant to target specific insect, right? So we have seen this, both are correct and the correct explanation of assertion. So that's why answer will be 1. Right? Next one. So question number 102. So we have one figure here with A, B, C and D. So if you just look here, you will see that this is the structure of heart. So this is the right atria, this is right ventricle, this is left atria, this is left ventricle. Right side will always have deoxygenated blood, left side will always have oxygenated blood. So right atria will receive deoxygenated blood from vena cava, right? And this deoxygenated blood will be pumped to the lungs via pulmonary artery. So C will be pulmonary artery. So here you can see pulmonary artery is written for C. And is it carrying deoxygenated blood? Yes. Right? Partial pressure of oxygen will be 40 millimeter mercury. That is also true. Now going to other structure. So this is the left side. So left side will receive oxygenated blood from the lungs through pulmonary vein. So B should be pulmonary vein, and this oxygenated blood will be pumped to the body part through aorta, right? So A should be aorta, but here A is written as systemic vein, B is written as pulmonary vein, carries oxygenated blood, and PCO2 is given 45 millimeter mercury, which is wrong. System D is given here, systemic artery, carries deoxygenated blood, PCO2 given 45 millimeter mercury again, which is wrong. So correct answer for this question should be 3, right? Now let's move on to our next question, question number 105. Which of the following best describes lymph? So lymph is a fluid rich in RBC? Not at all. Colorless fluid? Absolutely. Lacking RBC? Yes. Fewer proteins than plasma? Absolutely yes. Fluid identical to blood plasma but without WBCs? No. WBCs are present. Viscous fluid rich in hemoglobin and clotting factors? No. Right? So correct answer here should be 2. Next one. Assertion says, after a reduction in industrial pollution, the frequency of light colored moth increases in certain areas. So remember that light colored moth number will only increase when the background is lighter, right? So after reduction of industrial pollution, yes, there is a possibility that the light colored moth will increase. Why? Because of reappearance of lichens on tree trunk. Yes, so lichens, which are biological indicator of pollution, that will perish because of increase in sulfur dioxide in the environment. So when these lichens are growing on tree trunk, because the pollution is less, definitely the light colored peppered moth number will increase because it will be protected from the predators, right? So that is also true. So assertion is true, reason is true, reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So answer should be 1. Next question, question number 109. Arrange the following steps in the mechanism of ADH action in the correct sequence. Increase in water reabsorption in DCT, distal tubules. So yes, ADH, when it is released, definitely it will cause water reabsorption. But here we need to keep all these statements in sequence, right? So first of all, if you can recall ADH, what it is doing, it will be increasing the blood pressure and will be increasing the GFR, and it will be released when this GFR and blood pressure is reducing, right? So loss of body fluid and increase in ionic concentration will lead to the release of ADH. So first will be D, right? D. Then there will be activation of osmoreceptors because of this. So after D, there will be C. So let's write it down. D, then C. After that, there will be release of ADH from neurohypophysis, that is the posterior pituitary gland. So after this, there should be B, right? And then there is increase in water reabsorption in DCT, that means A. And post that, ultimately prevention of diuresis, that means E. Okay, so we got our answer now, D, C, B, A, E, right? D, C, B, A, E, that means correct answer should be 1, right? Let's move on to next question. Question number 110. Very lengthy question. So will you be giving that much of time? Let's see the keywords. During a seasonal outbreak, a patient presents with fever, rash, joint pain, right? There is a moderate decrease in platelet count. Remember that platelet count decreases drastically in case of dengue. But when we are talking about fever, rash and joint pain, let's see what they are talking about after this. The fever subsides, the patient continues to experience marked joint stiffness, which is even interfering with the daily activities, right? So these are the keywords. So it will be chikungunya. It will be chikungunya because it is characterized by joint pain. So correct answer for this question should be 2. Next. Question number 113. Contraction of skeletal muscle fiber require calcium ion and ATP. If you can recall, calcium ion binds to the troponin C, and because of which the troponin and tropomyosin is pulled and the actin bind and the myosin binding site on actin is exposed, right? So binding of calcium ions when it is released from sarcoplasmic reticulum will lead to exposure of myosin binding site on actin. Okay, and then only there will be binding of the myosin head to the actin and there will be formation of cross bridge. Okay, so this is true. What about ATP? Yes, so ATP is also important for formation of the cross bridge because it will be providing the energy, right? So this is correct. Now calcium ion exposes the myosin binding site on actin while ATP is required for cross bridge cycling and for the detachment of myosin head from the actin. Now ATP, when a fresh ATP will bind, definitely it will only help in the detachment of the myosin head with the actin. So yes, this is also correct. So both are correct and in fact the correct explanation of assertion as well, right? So correct answer for this question should be 1. Got it? So correct answer is 1. Now let's move on to our next question, and that is question number 115. Now a patient is suspected to have a viral infection, but the pathogen load in the blood is very low, cannot be detected by conventional method. So conventional methods are the urine analysis, the serum analysis, isn't it? Now the doctor recommends a technique that amplify the genetic material of the pathogen. Now here is the keyword, amplify the genetic material of the pathogen. So it is PCR, polymerase chain reaction, it is 2, right? Next, 117. The cerebellum coordinates voluntary muscular movements and maintain posture and balance. So this is the major function of cerebellum. Cerebellum also determines your gait, the way you walk, isn't it? The cerebellum has a highly folded cortex which increases its surface area. That is also true. So both the statements are true. So correct answer will be 1. Next question. Question number 118. Lecithin is a phospholipid in the plasma membrane. So correct answer is 1. Next question. So we have assertion and reason. Hypersecretion of glucocorticoids may lead to hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia is increased glucose in blood. Yes. So when glucocorticoids increases, right, definitely there will be hyperglycemia, increased glucose in the blood. Now glucocorticoids inhibit gluconeogenesis in liver cells, which is wrong. So first let's understand what is gluconeogenesis, right? So what is gluconeogenesis? It is formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate source, right? So what is gluconeogenesis, right? It is formation of glucose. It is formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate source. Right? Now you can see that it is forming glucose, and so the glucose level in the blood should increase. But here they are saying that gluconeogenesis is inhibited. This is wrong. It is promoted, right? So assertion is true, but reason is false. Answer for this question should be 3. Yes? So let's move on to our next question. So questions in zoology might be a bit lengthy, but you need to identify the correct term. That will be your keywords that will help you to save time while solving zoology questions. So the vas deferens serves as the primary site for sperm maturation, whereas the fallopian tube serves as a primary site for ovum maturation, which is wrong. Now here we want the correct statement. Here we want the correct statement. Now seminiferous tubule are the site of gamete formation, whereas ovaries lack any comparable organized structure for gamete development, which is wrong. The male reproductive system include accessory gland, whereas the female system does not possess accessory gland. This is also wrong. In male, the urethra serves as a common duct for both the urinary and the reproductive system. Yes. So when we talk about male urethra, this urethra, which is divided into the prostatic urethra, the membranous urethra and the penile urethra. So definitely it is carrying both the semen also, the urine also. This is true till now. Whereas in female, it functions exclusively as urinary duct. Now this is absolutely true for males and females. So correct answer for this question should be 4. Next. Which of the following features is common in Pisces, amphibia, reptilia and aves? 3-chambered heart? No. When we talk about fishes, they will have 2-chambered heart, amphibia 3, reptilia 3, exception is crocodile, aves 4, so this is wrong. Nucleated erythrocytes? Yes. Internal fertilization in all members. So when we talk about Pisces, in Pisces the chondric thighs will show internal fertilization. What about ostrich thighs? They will show external fertilization. So yeah, not true. Pulmonary respiration in all. What about fishes? Pulmonary respiration is respiration through lungs, which is wrong. So correct answer here should be 2. Next. Assertion says amniocentesis is banned for determining the sex of the fetus in India. Yes. So amniocentesis will be banned for determination of sex of the baby in India. Why? Because it can be misused for sex selective abortion or female feticide. So in India, majority of the time it happens that if the sex or the gender of the baby is revealed, right, it might lead to female feticide, right? So that is also true. So both are true and even the correct explanation of assertion. So answer should be 1, right? Next, question number 132. Which of the following feature is not common in cockroach and frog? Bilateral symmetry, common. Triploblastic organization, common. Open circulatory system. So cockroaches will have a closed circulatory system. Yes, cockroaches will have open circulatory system, right? Whereas the frogs will have closed circulatory system, isn't it? So when we talk about open and closed circulatory system, what happens in open circulatory system? The blood, right, will come out of the blood vessels and occupy the sinuses, right, and occupy the sinuses or hemocoel, right? So the cells and tissues are directly bathed in blood. So this is how the open circulatory system will be when the cells and tissues are directly bathed in blood. So this is the open circulatory system seen in cockroach. But in closed circulatory system, what will you see? So in closed circulatory system, you will see that arteries will be forming arterioles, right? Arterioles will be forming capillaries, and capillaries will join to form venules, and venules will join to form veins, isn't it? So can you see the blood remains always inside the blood vessels? So that's why we are calling it as a closed circulatory system. So blood here will always remain inside the blood vessels. So what about the exchange? Right? What about the exchange of gases, exchange of nutrients? So that will be across the walls of capillaries. So the cells and tissues are not directly bathed in blood, isn't it? So that is the difference between open and closed circulatory system, right? So when we talk about cockroach, it is open. When we talk about frog, it is closed circulatory system. Complete digestive system, yes, it is common in both. Complete digestive system means both mouth and anus will be present in the alimentary canal, and that is true for both. So we got our answer, it should be 3. Let's see the next question, question number 136. Which of the following statements are incorrect? Pay attention, this is a very interesting question. We need to find out the incorrect statement. Now, the tidal volume is the only component common in both inspiratory capacity and vital capacity. So, when we talk about inspiratory capacity, it will include tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. Whereas, when we are talking about the vital capacity, it will include tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, and in fact expiratory reserve volume as well. So both tidal volume and IRV will be common, and here they are giving only tidal volume, so this is wrong. Coming to the B option, B statement. Inspiratory reserve volume is a component common to both inspiratory capacity and total lung capacity. They are not mentioning only. So when we talk about inspiratory capacity, we know it is tidal volume plus IRV. When we talk about inspiratory capacity, we have seen when we now next we are going to see total lung capacity. Total lung capacity will include tidal volume, IRV, ERV, even RV, right? So they are saying inspiratory reserve volume is a component that is common. Yes, that is true. In fact, tidal volume is also common, but they are not saying only. So that's why it is correct. Residual volume is the only component common to both functional residual capacity and total lung capacity. So functional residual capacity will be ERV plus RV, right? Functional residual capacity will be ERV plus RV, whereas the total lung capacity, again we know it should be tidal volume, IRV, ERV plus RV, right? So they are saying that residual volume is the only component which is common to both functional residual capacity and total lung capacity, but ERV is also common now, so that's why it is wrong. Coming to the next statement, expiratory reserve volume is the only component common to both vital capacity and functional residual capacity. Vital capacity will be tidal volume, IRV plus ERV, whereas functional residual capacity will be ERV plus RV, and they are saying that ERV is the only component that is common, which is correct. Now, inspiratory reserve volume is the only component common in both vital capacity and total lung capacity. So vital capacity, and what is the difference between vital capacity and total lung capacity, as you can see. Okay, this is the total lung capacity and this is the vital capacity. The only difference will be RV, rest everything is common, and they are saying only IRV is the common component, which is wrong. So incorrect one will be A, C and E, right? A, C and E will be incorrect. That means correct answer should be 1, right? Let's move on to our next question, 139. Which of the following statements are correct? AV valves open only when the ventricular pressure exceeds atrial pressure. No, when ventricular pressure increases, AV valve should close and not open up. This is wrong. And systolic volume refer to the volume of blood left in each ventricle at the end of ventricular systole. Yes, so it is end systolic volume. So after the ventricular systole is over, then how much blood is left? So that is true. Atrial systole overlap with ventricular systole. So this is wrong. Atrial systole contribute only a fraction to ventricular filling under normal condition. That is right. So when we talk about ventricular filling, so majority of the ventricular filling will take place at the time of joint diastole. 70% passive filling will be there, and rest 30% during atrial systole, right? So this is true. During atrial diastole, atrial during atrial diastole, atria actively pump blood into the ventricle, which is wrong. It is during the atrial systole when atrias will contract, then active filling of the ventricles will be there, and that to 30%, right? So this is wrong. So we want only the correct statement. So it is B and D, right? So B and D only, answer should be 1. A very good question. Pay attention. I hope you have not made this question wrong, right? Let's move on to next question. Now, question number 140. Assertion says the maximum concentration of solute in the medullary interstitium is achieved at the inner medulla. That's true. This is mainly due to the active transport of NaCl from the descending limb of loop of Henle. So remember, if we can recall the structure of loop of Henle, right? Now this is the descending limb of loop of Henle and this is the ascending limb of loop of Henle. Now this is permeable to water and this is permeable to solutes, right? Now let's see what is given in the reason. They are writing that mainly due to the active transport of NaCl from the descending limb of loop of Henle. So this is wrong, right? So assertion is true, reason is false, answer should be 3. Next. Which of the following statements regarding the effect of drugs is incorrect? Pay attention to the term incorrect, right? Morphine acts as a sedative and painkiller. So caffeine is a potent painkiller. That is true. Barbiturates act as depressant and induce sleep. Yes. Tranquilizers relieve anxiety and reduce mental tension. But cocaine decreases heart rate is wrong. So cocaine is a stimulant. It is a stimulant. So it should increase heart rate and increase blood pressure. So this is incorrect. Answer for this question will be 4. Next. A person is unable to bring the thumb across the palm to touch the fingers, affecting grip and precision movement. Now this is dysfunction of which joint? So definitely this will be dysfunction of the joint in the thumb, and the thumb joint is the saddle joint. Saddle joint. So here the answer will be 2. Okay. Question number 145. Identify the mismatch regarding the enzymes and its function. Bacterial cell wall dissolution by lysozyme and not ligase. Fungal cell wall dissolution by chitinase, yes, because it is made up of chitin. Plant cell wall dissolution by cellulase, yes, because it is made up of cellulose. PCR, Tech, DNA polymerase, absolutely true. So which is wrong here is this one. It should be lysozyme and not ligase, right? So correct answer here should be 1. Question number 156. Transgenic animals are mainly used for increasing the agricultural crop yield. We don't use transgenic animal to increase the crop yield. Transgenic animal can be used to produce therapeutic proteins such as human alpha-1 antitrypsin. Absolutely, to treat emphysema. To treat emphysema. So this is correct. Statement 1 incorrect, statement 2 correct. Okay, incorrect, statement 2 is correct. Now answer should be 4. Okay, now let's move on to our next question, which is question number 150. Again, we have 2 statements. Statement 1 says, hypothalamic hormones regulating anterior pituitary are neurohormones secreted by neurosecretory cells. Absolutely correct statement. Neurosecretory cells are releasing hormones that control the hormones released from anterior pituitary gland. Now, the pituitary is anatomically connected to the hypothalamus by a stalk. Both the statements are correct. Okay, so correct answer is 1. Question number 156. Which of the following is the correct option A to D? So we have here A, B, C and D. So here they are saying A is a cavity of uterus. It seems to be umbilical cord. So this is wrong. A is umbilical cord, B is amniotic villi, C is cavity of uterus and D is allantois. D seems to be yolk sac. A is umbilical cord, B is placental villi, yes true. C is cavity of uterus and D is yolk sac, this is true. A is cavity of uterus, absolutely not. So we got our correct answer, it should be 3. Pay attention to the diagrams as this is a diagram from NCERT, and straightforward diagrams from NCERT and their labelings will be asked in NEET examination. So here is the proof that diagrams and labelings are important for NEET. Next question. Which of the following set of animals belong to group Tetrapoda? Okay, so when we talk about chordata, a very interesting flow chart. So they are divided into Acraniata, Avertebrata, or Vertebrata and Craniata. Okay, cranium here means the brain box and vertebrata will have vertebral column. So all the chordatas will have notochord, but in vertebrata the notochord changes to the vertebral column. Now acraniata or avertebrata will include protochordates. That will include urochordata and cephalochordata. So basically, urochordata and cephalochordata are together termed as protochordates, right? Which are exclusively marine. Now coming to vertebrata. Vertebrata will be further divided into agnatha and gnathostomata. Right? Agnatha. Gnatha means jaw. Agnatha will not have jaw in their mouth. Gnathostomata will have jaws in their mouth. So agnatha will include just one class, and that is cyclostomata. Whereas gnathostomata can be further divided into Pisces and tetrapoda. Right? Pisces and tetrapoda. Right? Now this tetrapoda will include amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammalia, whereas the Pisces will include chondric thighs and ostrich thighs. So when we talk about tetrapoda, it should be either an amphibia or reptilia or aves or mammalia, right? So can you see here, columba is a pigeon, aves, crocodile is crocodile, which is reptile, and canis, which is dog, which is mammal, right? So we have tetrapoda here, option number 3. Got it? Very easy question. Let's move on to question number 160. Which of the following is not a function of intrauterine devices? Increasing the phagocytosis of sperm within uterus, that is true. Suppressing the sperm motility and fertilizing capacity, that is true. Preventing implantation by altering or changing the uterine environment, absolutely true. Promoting ovulation, no. So promoting ovulation will not be the function of intrauterine devices. So answer should be 4. Next. Statement 1 says, the matrix of cartilage is mineralized with calcium salts which impart rigidity. No, that is true for bones but not for cartilage. Osteocytes are present in spaces called a lacuna in bone. Yes. So 1 is incorrect, 2 is correct. So correct answer should be 4. Yes. Next, which of the following pairs is correctly matched? Homologous organs, same structure, different function. So here they are writing same function, which is wrong. Analogous organ, different structure, same function. So they are saying same origin, which is wrong. Homologous organ, same origin, different function, absolutely true. Analogous organ, different origin, different function, not at all. So when we talk about homologous organs, right? So they will have same origin and same structure, but the functions will be different. For example, 4 limbs of bat and 4 limbs of whales. Both are mammals, right? Both 4 limbs will have the same structure, but function is different. In case of bat, it is flying, and in case of whale, it is swimming. So these are examples of homologous organs. Now let's move on to our next question. Select the method of transmission of AIDS. Unprotected sexual contact with an infected person, yes, it will transmit AIDS. Use of common toilet and swimming pool, no. Transplantation of infected organ, yes. Breastfeeding by an infected mother, yes. Sharing food with an infected person, no. So what are the 3 methods? A, C and D will be the correct answer. A, C, D only. That means the answer should be 1. Okay. So this was question number 166 with the answer to be 1. Next question, let's see what is the next question. Number 171. Which of the following statement hold true for oogenesis but not for spermatogenesis in humans? Initiation of the process occurs during puberty. Oogenesis starts from the embryonic stage, fetal stage. The primary gametocyte undergoes prolonged arrest in prophase 1. This is true for oogenesis. Cytokinesis during the meiotic division are unequal. Yes. The process results in the formation of a single large functional gamete. True. Meiosis 2 is completed prior to fertilization. That is not true for oogenesis. Right? So we have B, C, D. B, C, D only correct for oogenesis and not for spermatogenesis. So correct answer for this question should be 3. Now let's move on to our next question. Question number 173. So Ascaris, another match the following type of question. Ascaris that belongs to nematoda, right? Ascalminthus phylum. So ascalminths or roundworms or nematoda, they have a complete digestive system but no circulatory system. That is true. So we will match A with 1. Nereis belongs to phylum Annelida, have closed circulatory system with nephridia for excretion. Yes. Periplaneta americana, joint appendages with hemocoel functioning as body cavity. So here Periplaneta americana is cockroach that belongs to Arthropoda phylum. Balanoglossus hemichordata, which is also termed as tongue worm. Presence of pharyngeal gill slits and stomochord, absolutely. So stomochord is hollow notochord, which is a feature of hemichordata balanoglossus. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the right answer. So correct answer should be 1. Next question number 175. Which of the following statements regarding the circulatory system of frog will be incorrect? Frogs possess a 3-chambered heart consisting of 2 atria and 1 ventricle. Absolutely true. Sinus venosus receive blood from major vein and open into the right atrium. Absolutely true. Sinus venosus will receive deoxygenated blood from vena cava and then the blood will go into the right atrium. True. Hepatic portal system carries oxygenated blood from the liver directly to the heart is wrong. So let's understand how it works. So when we talk about intestine, so this deoxygenated blood from here will be carried by hepatic portal vein to liver. It is a special venous connection, and from liver the hepatic vein will carry blood to inferior vena cava. And then it will go to heart. Understood the flow, noted down, very important. Right, so here it is written that hepatic portal system will carry oxygenated blood from the liver directly to the heart. So understand that intestine will, from intestine the deoxygenated blood through hepatic portal vein will go to the liver first, then the hepatic vein, then inferior vena cava and then heart. Okay. So yeah, this is wrong. Conus arteriosus regulate the distribution of blood into the aortic arches. So yes, conus arteriosus will regulate the distribution of blood into the aortic arches. So correct answer for this question should be 3. Right? 3. Let's move on to our next question. Statement 1. Homo sapiens originated in Africa and later migrated to other continents. Yes, that is true. Homo erectus was the first to develop advanced language similar to modern humans. No, Homo erectus were not able to develop language. So first statement is correct, but the second one is incorrect. So answer should be 3. Right? So with this, we have completed our discussion of the zoology portion of our GT4. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please make sure that you need to be careful with all the statements, the terms like correct, incorrect, true, false. So you might make a silly mistake at that time. And yes, the paper was a bit lengthy but easy. So thank you so much everyone for joining and watching. See you in the next discussion.
Hello students, welcome to the session. Here we are going to discuss grant test for NEET grant test series. This paper is moderate and it is a standard on par with NEET examination that you are going to write your NEET 2026. So let us start the question number 1 here, 46. So sequence of reactions are been given here. Benzene with nitro group. Nitrobenzene, when it is treated with Cl2 FeCl3, so it is an electrophilic aromatic substitution, so that you are going to have chlorobenzene. B stands to be chlorobenzene, and this chlorobenzene is treated with SnHCl, so that nitro group is going to be reduced to get aniline, and it is treated with HNO2. It will become benzene diazonium chloride, diazonium salt, and when it is treated with C2H5OH, it takes reduction, and you are going to get benzene. But when you treat with nitrobenzene with chlorine, so you are going to get metachloronitrobenzene, so that the sequence of these products, you are going to get the chlorine over here. This is going to be the C. So when you talk about this reactant A, nitrobenzene, B is going to be metachloronitrobenzene, and C is going to be chlorobenzene. So among these, most reactive towards acetyl chloride in AlCl3 means who is going to most reactive in Friedel-Crafts acylation? Electron withdrawing group, here also electron withdrawing group, all are electron withdrawing group. Among these, super electron withdrawing group, so that C is going to be merely participating in good and most reactive towards the Friedel-Crafts reaction. So I want to say only option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is another statement based question. The correct statements among the following are. Here it is given ABCD statements. Let us find out whether these statements are correct or not. When a system is in equilibrium, the entropy is maximum and the change in entropy is going to be 0. So when the system is at equilibrium, delta G is going to be 0. Equilibrium constant is going to be entropy change is going to be 0. So this is a true statement. Delta S total can discriminate between isothermal reversible process and isothermal irreversible process. Yes, delta S is going to be 0 at reversible process, and irreversible process is going to be greater than 0 according to the second law of thermodynamics. So it can be a correct statement. Enthalpy of neutralization of H2SO4 versus NaOH is about minus 114.6, which is absolutely wrong. When a neutralization reaction takes place between a strong acid and a strong base, enthalpy of neutralization is going to be minus 57.3 kilojoules. So that C is going to be a wrong statement, and the standard enthalpy of formation of white phosphorus is said to be 0. Enthalpy of formation at standard state for elemental substance is always 0. That is the fundamental thumbnail you can use in the thermodynamics. So this is also correct statement. Among all, A, B, D are the correct statements. Option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Here is a matching type question. Here the list 1 reaction is given and the list 2 product is given. So let us talk about what is going to be the product here. It is an ester group, it is an aldehyde group. H2 in the presence of, let us say, PD is a catalyst. Both aldehyde group and ester group is going to be reduced, so that you are going to get both are going to be reduced, along with the carbon to carbon double bond is also get reduced. So I would accept this option 3. So list 2, third one is going to be the answer. And NaBH4 and THF H2O is used. NaBH4 cannot reduce carbon to carbon double bond, it cannot reduce ester, but it can reduce aldehyde. So that I would say here double bond is not disturbed, ester is not disturbed, and only aldehyde is going to be converted into the alcohol. So I would like to say 1. When lithium aluminum hydride in the presence of an ether and hydrolyzed, you are going to reduce both ester as well as aldehyde. It do not reduce carbon to carbon double bond. So that I would like to say ester is reduced, aldehyde is reduced, carbon to carbon double bond is not reduced. So I want to say it is going to be 4. Whenever dibol H is given, the dibol H is going to be converted this ester into aldehyde. Ester into aldehyde. So it is going to be option 2. So by combination A3B1C4D2, I would like to say option 2 in the given match is going to be the correct answer. When you solve this type of questions, you are good at subject, but you need to pick the appropriate answer in a meticulous way. Please follow the way I am using during an examination. That is going to be a super benefit for you. Students, here is a question from statement 1 and statement 2. Statement 1, Heisenberg uncertainty principle is significant for macroscopic particles. Absolutely wrong. Heisenberg uncertainty principle is significant for microscopic particles like electrons and moving subatomic particles. So, statement 1 is not correct. The product of uncertainties of both the position and momentum of a macroscopic particles is negligible. So, Heisenberg uncertainty principle delta x dot delta p should be equal or greater than h by 4 pi. So, this product is significant for subatomic particles like electrons, small particles, microscopic particles. If it is a macroscopic particles, this product is insignificant. It is a true statement. So, statement 1 is not true, statement 2 is a true. So, the answer for this question is going to be option 4. Students, this is a question from chemical kinetics, and this graph is also given in the NCERT, and it is given the slope of the following graph is given minus 0.02 minute inverse. Half-life of a reaction that is being asked, let us calculate half-life of a reaction. So, what is actually the graph here? It is a straight line with a negative slope. Straight line with a negative slope for log reactant concentration versus time. So, slope is going to be minus k by 2.303. That is a fundamental concept. Let us use minus k by 2.303 is given as a minus 0.02. So, k is equal to 0.02 into 2.303. So, once you got it is a first order graph. The T half for the first order graph is given as 0.693 by k. So, 0.693 from the slope, k value is going to be 0.02 into 2.303. On doing so, it is given in the time minutes. So, T half is going to be 15 minutes is the answer for this question. So, I would say option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Students, this is a question from conductivity concept from the electrochemistry. Mx2 is an electrolyte, is a strong electrolyte, molar conductivity of 0.36 molar Mx2, and 1 molar Mx2 is 360 centimeter square mole inverse and 300 centimeter square mole inverse respectively. So, limiting molar conductivity of Mx2 at the same temperature in the same unit is given as. So, you can use Debye-Huckel rule. Debye-Huckel rule says molar conductivity is equal to limiting molar conductivity minus constant root concentration. So, let us use this. Molar conductivity is given as a 360 minus limiting is equal to limiting molar conductivity minus k root 3 0.36. So limiting molar conductivity, you got it as 360 minus 0.6 K. So we can use in the latter part of the question. So we have 300 more centimeter square mole inverse. So we can use this is for 300 is equal to molar limiting conductivity minus K. On solving, so this is given as 300 is equal to, put it here, 360 minus 0.6 K minus K. So limiting molar conductivity is equal to 300 plus K. So K value we got it as a 0.4 K. So limiting molar conductivity is going to be 60 is equal to 0.4 K, and K is solved to be 60 by 0.4 is equal to 150. So this K value directly you can put it there. So that limiting molar conductivity of this is going to be 300 plus 150. You are going to get 450. In the same way, more centimeter square mole inverse. So answer for this question is going to be 450. Option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is the question. Crystal field splitting energy of K2 NiCl4 is. So when you check, this is going to be nickel plus 2 oxidation state. The nickel plus 2 oxidation state is going to be D8 square planar complex. So it's a square planar complex is going to be Eg4 T2G4. So crystal field splitting energy is going to be 4 electrons in minus 0.6 of crystal field tetrahedral splitting energy plus 4 electrons plus 0.4 crystal field tetrahedral energy. So on doing so, you're going to get minus 8 tetrahedral crystal field splitting energy. So option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Students, which of the following is an incorrect combination? You have to identify the incorrect combination. Methoxide is greater than ethoxide stability. So what is a methoxide? CH3O minus, and ethoxide C2H5O minus. Already negative charge is there. So because of the plus I inductive, so it is going to be less stable. So it is correct one. Metamethoxyaniline, metamethyl So this is going to have negative inductive effect, and it is having positive inductive effect. You may say that methoxy group has a mesomeric effect. Meta position mesomeric effect do not work. That's the reason why. So positive inductive effect makes it is a basic strength correct. This is a trifolium ion is more stable than cyclopentadienyl cation. So it is being aromatic. It is correct. While you can see 2-phenyl ethanoic acid, and it is a benzoic acid. Benzoic acid is more acidic than 2-phenyl ethanoic acid. So this is not correct. So which of the following is incorrect means option 4 is incorrect statement about all this. 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is a assertion reasoning type question. You have given 2 statements. So in the NEET examination, this is a more prone type of questions. Ethyl chloride react with ethanolic KCN, ethyl chloride CH3, CH2, Cl. When it is treated with KCN in the presence of a solvent, you are going to get propane nitrile. you are going to get a propane nitrile. Here it is given ethane nitrile, therefore this is not correct statement. Clearly you have to check, meticulously you have to answer it. The bond energy of carbon to carbon single bond is greater than carbon to nitrogen bond. So bond between hetero atoms of the same period, the bond energy is going to be decreased. So this is correct. So A is false, R is true, option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is a matching type question. So list 1 is given, so various orders are given and the property you have to match it. So I wanted to say nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. So here bismuth is less than antimony, so it comes to be the order of the boiling point. And nitrogen is greater than phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth is given. That as antimony and bismuth has a similar electronegativity according to the NCERT. And nitrogen, phosphorus, bismuth, antimony and arsenic is given, and it is given as the melting point order. So we need to have the correct order in your mind from the tables that is given from the NCERT. And nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, it is decreasing order is given for ionization potential. So that the match has to be checked so carefully, so that we are going to get A4, B1, C3, D2. So option 3 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here it is one more question, and alkene is given cyclohexene. When this cyclohexene is treated with KMnO4, you are going to get hexane dioic acid, and later on it is heated with sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, so it is called soda lime. This soda lime makes it decarboxylated, so that you can remove this and you can remove this, only 4 carbons will be left here. So I would like to say it is a 4 carbon alkane. It is nothing but normal butane. Option 2 is the correct answer for this question. Students, it is a fundamental thermochemical equations question. So CH4 gives rise carbon plus 4H. Delta H is given plus 398 kilocalories per mole. Which of the following is incorrect? Enthalpy change is called enthalpy of atomization. According to the definition, 1 mole of substance is completely converted into its constituent gaseous atoms, so it is a correct statement. Bond energy of carbon to hydrogen bond is 398 kilocalories. So, which is actually not calculated like that. So, the bond energy has to be calculated as an average. So, average bond energy is going to be 398 by 4. So that it comes to be 99.5, it is correct. Energy required to break 4 mole of carbon to hydrogen bond in CH4 is 398. This is also correct. Which is incorrect? So this one is absolutely incorrect. So option 2 is the correct answer for this question. Students, it is a question from stoichiometry based on limiting reagent calculation. 5 moles of A, 3 moles of B. 5 moles of A, 3 moles of B gives rise to 2 moles of C and 4 moles of D. So that is a given equation. 4 moles of A and 2 moles of B are allowed to react. So when they are allowed to react, let us find which is a limiting reagent. So 4 is divided by the number of, to find the limiting reagent there is a trick. Given number of moles is divided with the stoichiometric number, 4 by 5, 2 by 3. So it is going to be 0.8, it is going to be 0.66. So the one which has the lowest ratio is going to be the limiting reagent. Fine. Now, according to the equation, 3 mole of A, 3 mole of B can give, the product has to be formed, can be calculated based on the limiting reagent. 4 mole of D. So, 1 mole of B, you are going to get 4 by 3 mole of D. And if given 2 moles of B, can give 4 by 3 into 2 mole of D. That is equal to 8 by 3. Is going to be 2.6 mole of D. So, if you see this, the correct statement. So, 2.6 mole of D is formed. Option 2 is correct answer for this question. Students, it is given which is a wrong match. You have to identify. C2H5OH gives a positive iodoform test, correct? And tertiary butyl alcohol immediately gives a Lucas test. Lucas test is given. Tertiary alcohol is immediately gives this Lucas test. This is also correct. C6H5 phenol gives white coloration with neutral FeCl3. This is a test for phenol. This is also correct. And while it is a this tertiary butyl alcohol CH3, CH and CH3 and OH, it is on oxidation, you are going to get acetone. You are going to get acetone. Therefore, propanol will not be given, propanone will be given. Therefore, the answer for this question, this is a wrong statement. So, wrong match, answer 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is the question. The freezing point of a solution containing n moles of a glucose in 200 grams of water. So, it is 272.7. When the same solution is cooled to -4 degrees centigrade, then the mass of water separated as ice will be. So, let us talk about what is the actual decrease in the freezing point. So, delta T1 is going to be said to be 273 is the actual freezing point of water minus 272.7. On doing so, you are going to get 0.3 is the variation. And when the same solution is cooled, so delta T2 is going to be 0.4, it is given. So, the mass of water that is getting separated, so that is given as delta T1 minus delta T2 is equal to 200 grams of solution. That is the mass of the water that is separated on cooling upon W upon 200. So, this is 0.3 and 0.4. You can say 3 by 4 is equal to 200 minus W upon 200. On solving, W is going to get 50 grams. So, the 50 grams, option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is the question. Students, here is the question. 0.02 molar barium chloride solution is isotonic with 0.05 molar glucose solution. So, the percentage of ionization of barium chloride, it is a very famous question. So, isotonic means pi of barium chloride is equal to pi of glucose. So, pi is equal to I CRT. So, I into concentration of barium chloride 0.02 into RT is equal to I value, it's 1 because glucose is a non-electrolyte. It is equal to 0.05 into RT. So, you can cancel this. On solving, I is equal to 0.05 by 0.02 is equal to 2.75 on solving, so you are going to get 1 On solving so, you are going to get I value as 2.5. So from there, degree of ionization can be calculated. Barium chloride on ionization gives rise to barium 2 plus and 2Cl minus. Alpha is equal to I minus 1 upon N minus 1. So N is going to be 3 ions that is produced after ionization. So it is going to be 2.5 minus 1 and N value is going to be 3 and minus 1. So on solving so I value is going to be 0.75. 0.75%. So the answer for this is going to be 75% is the answer for this question. So students, here is one more question. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion, another one is labeled as a reason. So assertion A, PbI4 is less stable and exists in nature. PbI4 is not stable due to inert pair effect as well as inert pair effect Pb2 plus and Pb4 plus. So Pb4 plus is not stable. However, I minus is a strong reducing agent, so that it cannot make the Pb4 plus as a stable. And SnF4 and PbF4 ionic in nature, it is clearly mentioned in NCERT. Fluorides of tin and lead are going to be ionic, so that A is false and R is true. Option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Children, here is the one question. Which of the following is an incorrect combination about the given titrations? So titrations are there in practical chemistry. I wanted to say KMnO4 and H2C2O4. In this, KMnO4 is a self-indicator. So it's a correct statement. KMnO4 versus oxalic acid in acidic medium, it is carried out at the high temperature because oxalic acid, the reaction is not started. You need to give lot more heat to initiate it. Activation energy you need to give. It is correct statement. Sodium hydroxide and oxalic acid, methyl red is an indicator. So this is not correct. So the strong base and weak acid, methyl red cannot be used. Okay. So HCl and sodium carbonate, methyl orange is an indicator. So you can use methyl orange between these two. So incorrect one is going to be option 3 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is one more question. Statement 1, bond angle in SO2 and NH3, H2O and H2S is given decreasing order 119 degrees, 104 and 107 and 104, and it is nearly 90. So it is correct. And hybridization of central atom in SO2 is going to be sp2 but not sp is a wrong statement. So I want to say statement 1 is correct statement and statement 2 is a wrong statement. Option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is the D and F block elements, applications of F block elements. You can see the percentage of iron in mish metal. Mish metal is a combination of the lanthanoid elements 95% and 5% is going to be iron. So the percentage composition is going to be 5. The answer is going to be 1 is the answer for this question. The wrong match is, here it is a 4 are given. The ligands, in this ligands you can see nitrogen and it is with 3 times of CH2 and CH2 NH2 and CH2 CH2 NH2 and CH2 and CH2 and NH2. So it is going to be maximum of tetradentate. It is a tetradentate is correct. 4 lone pairs of electrons can be given. En, it is going to be ethylene diamine CH2 and CH2 and NH2 and NH2. So it is going to be a bidentate ligand or didentate ligand, it is correct. And oxalate C double bond O, C double bond O and O minus and O minus, it is going to be a bidentate ligand. It is going to be a bidentate ligand. So it is given as a tridentate ligand is not correct. And SCN can give you NCS, it is an ambidentate ligand. So it is an ambidentate ligand. It is correct. So I want to say the third option is the incorrect match of the given ligands. Option 3 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here it is another P block element question. The identify the correct statement. Melting point of thallium is greater than gallium, but it is given wrong. SeF4 is a liquid, but it is given as a solid, so it is a wrong statement. In XeF4, electron pairs are arranged in square pyramidal. In XeF4, xenon, fluorine, fluorine, fluorine and fluorine, lone pairs of electrons are given. On the linear pattern of the square pyramidal complex, it is not correct. And the bond enthalpy of this, fluorine is greater than iodine. So I mean to say here, chlorine is greater than bromine is greater than fluorine. So it is a correct statement. Option 4 is the correct answer for this question. So it's a very simple question, children. The reaction of sulfuric acid with sodium hydroxide is an example of. It is sodium hydroxide react with H2SO4. You are going to get Na2SO4 plus H2O. So you can say this is going to be simply a neutralization reaction. It is a non-redox reaction. Option 3 is the correct answer for this question. Students, this question is ethyl benzene, when it is treated with Br2 and HNO, the monobromination takes place. So benzyl carbon is going to be brominated, CH and CH3, and it is going to be bromine. And Br2, FeBr3 dark, you are going to get ethyl benzene with major, I want to say para-bromo. So the reactivity B and C towards aqueous sodium hydroxide through SN1 mechanism. Aryl halide and alkyl halide. Alkyl halide is going to be more reactive in SN1 reaction. Aryl halide do not react with either SN1 or SN2. I want to say B is more reactive than C. So this is going to be more reactive. Answer 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, this question is asking about incorrect statements among the following. The difference in the boiling point of chloroform and aniline is more than 50 degrees. The boiling point of aniline is going to be 180 degrees because of its extensive intermolecular hydrogen bonding and high molecular weight. So chloroform is more volatile and there will be a huge difference between the boiling points. And the boiling point of aniline is, as I said, it is going to be 180 degrees centigrade and water is 100 degrees centigrade. So boiling point of aniline is set that less, which is not correct. And in thin layer chromatography, the retardation factor is the least for the most adsorbed compound, and that is going to be the fundamental logic in the chromatography. And acetaldehyde is soluble in water but insoluble diethyl ether. Acetaldehyde is soluble in water as well as in ether. So, but not, he said wrong statement. I would say A and C are correct statement, B and D are incorrect statement. Option 1 is the correct statement for this question. Students, here is one more question. Identify the incorrect statement. The formal charge on the central atom of nitrogen, N double bond N and oxygen, It is going to be -1 here, it is going to be +1, it is a correct statement. So, the number of pi bonds in C2 molecules is equal to N2 molecules, it is also correct. Dipole moment of CCl4 is 0 and is less than that of CHCl3. CH3Cl is not equal to 0. This is also correct statement. An ionic halide with maximum ionic character will always have the maximum lattice energy is not at all a correct statement. Ionic character and lattice energy. So, lattice energy is decided by the charge and the radius of this ion, but not the ionic characters. That is a misconcept. Actually, the option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is the question, statement, assertion and reason type question. Here, solubility of zinc hydroxide is less in sodium hydroxide than water. So, sodium hydroxide is more soluble, zinc hydroxide. When dissolved in sodium hydroxide, you are going to get a soluble Na2ZnO2, sodium meta-aluminate. Because of this formation of soluble complex, this is going to be more stable. So that I want to say this is the incorrect statement. While zinc hydroxide is not amphoteric in nature, zinc hydroxide is amphoteric hydroxide. So that it is said that not amphoteric in nature, so that it is a wrong statement. Both A and are false. Option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is asking about activation energy, chemical kinetics. Activation energy of a reaction depends on, if you take the energy and the reaction coordinate, so reactant and given to the product, so this is called as activation energy. If you use a catalyst, catalyst is going to take an alternative pathway in which its activation energy is less. So, it has less activation energy in the presence of catalyst. So, catalyst has the ability to take the reaction in the low activation energy path. So, option 4 catalyst is the answer for this question. Here is the question, glucose is given to gluconic acid. So, CHO and CH2OH, and it is going to be glucose structure. And it is converted into gluconic acid. COOH, only aldehyde is oxidized, not primary alcohol. So, this is what is called as a gluconic acid. So, you can do by any Tollens reagent you can use, Fehling's reagent you can use, and Br2 in water you can use, so that mild oxidation agent. If you use a Tollens reagent, you are going to get a glucoric acid is going to be formed. So that you can't use this. So it cannot be. So I mean to say option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Here it is a assertion reasoning type question. The boiling point of N-pentane is less than that of 2-methylbutane. As branching increases, boiling point decreases. Therefore, N-pentane and this is 2-methylbutane, the boiling point should follow this order. Therefore, it is not correct. Among isomeric alkanes, the branching increases, van der Waals forces of attraction decreases, therefore, boiling point decreases. This statement is correct. So, for this question, I would say A is false, reason is true is the correct answer. Students, this question is from P block elements. EO2 and EO3 type oxides are acidic. Dioxides and trioxides of group 16 elements are distinctly acidic in nature. True. The 17th group hydride with the highest melting point is not HF, it is going to be HI. Therefore, this is not correct. O2PtF6 is a red color compound, it is given in the NCERT. And boron exhibit allotropy, crystalline and amorphous allotrope. So, I could say this option 2 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here it is the different levels of conversions, select the correct reaction. So, 3-methyl-but-1-ene. What is 3-methyl-but-1-ene? This is a but-1-ene and this is going to be 3-methyl. It is on ozonolysis, you are going to get CHO and methanol, HCHO. So, you are going to get butanone is given wrong. It is going to be 2-methyl-propanol. And but-2-ene, this is your but-2-ene. When it is treated with, you are going to get acetic acid. PH3, COOH, N-potassium thalamide and N-potassium thalamide. When it is treated with C6H5Cl, there is no reaction because this reaction supposed to be SN2, it will not give this. Acetaldehyde, when it is treated with NaOH and it is going to get but-2-enol. So, aldol condensation CH3, CH double bond CH and CHO. So, this is aldol condensation product. So, but-2-enol is the answer, 4 is the correct answer, and it is a primary alcohol. It is converted into its carboxylic acid by using various reagents. So, it is supposed to be a strong oxidizing agent. When you take a strong oxidizing agent, you can use concentrated HNO3, you can use KMNO4 and you can use CrO3, chromic anhydride and H2SO4. But this structure is going to be pyridium chlorochromate. If you use this, you are going to get the product as RCHO. So, X cannot be, X can be concentrated HNO3 or KMNO4 or this chromic anhydride, and it cannot be. Option 1 is the correct answer for this question. The question is asking about the set of quantum numbers here. N is equal to 4, L is equal to 2, M is equal to 0, S is equal to plus 1 by 2. And there is a rule. No two electrons in an atom can have same set of 4 quantum numbers. So, there will be only one electron is possible according to Pauli's exclusion principle, and only one electron is possible for this. Answer 1 is the correct answer. Here is another question. The above molecule can show, if you see this molecule, this can show geometrical isomers with respect to this carbon bond. These two are different. With respect to this carbon double bond, these two are different. So, this can show geometrical isomer, and this carbon is having 4 different groups. So, this is a chiral. So, optical isomerism. It will not it will show both optical as well as geometrical isomerism. So, option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is the question, the structure of amino acids. NTA is going to ask definitely one question from amino acid, it could be at anything. So, it is pretty well known. So, this is your amino acid structure. The correct match of the R in the amino acid. If this A is given, you are going to get a isoleucine A is going to be 4, and if this is going to be aspartic acid, B is given 2 and 3, and you are going to see, and it is going to be leucine, and D it is going to be, and 309, it is going to be 309. So the answer for this A 4, B 2, C 3 and D 6. So the answer for this question is going to be option 4 is the correct answer. So I suggest the students just to go through the NCERT textbook, 20 different amino acids and their nature and the side chain variability and essential non-essential amino acids are given. You just follow that. Another question, which one of the following cannot decolorize either aqueous bromine or bromine in carbon tetrachloride? You take a benzene, though it has a 3 double bonds in it, it do not react with any addition reagents like bromine in CCl4, bromine in water. Due to delocalization of pi electron system above and below the ring. So I want to say the answer for this is going to be option 1. If you want to take the phenol, when it is treated with Br2, it could be with any solvent. So let us say Br2 water, you are going to get Br and Br, and it is going to be Br. Vinyl benzene is also, if you want to take this styrene is a vinyl benzene, you want to add Br2, okay, and Br2 H2O whatever it may be, you are going to get CH and CH2Br, and it is going to be OH. Like that aniline when it is treated with Br, NH2 Br2, you are going to get Br and Br and Br. So only benzene is the one which do not react with bromine, water or bromine in CCl4. Option 1 is the correct answer for this question. Students, the correct statements among the following are: lanthanum can acquire CCP and BCC and HCP structures. It is clearly mentioned in the NCERT. And melting point of Ag is greater than Au is greater than copper. But copper is greater than Au is greater than silver. Therefore, it cannot be. V2O4 given in the acidic in nature, it is going to be weakly basic. And a faint alkaline medium KMnO4 oxidizes thiosulfate S2O3 2 minus is getting oxidized to sulfate. It is correct. So it is asking about correct statements among the following. I could say A is a correct statement, D is a correct statement. So A and D only. Option 2 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is the question. P4 in the basic medium, it is going to be disproportionate to PH3 and H2PO2. So the number of OH minus ions in the net stoichiometric equation. Net stoichiometric equation, you just see P4 plus H2O plus OH minus gives rise H2PO4 minus plus PH3. So on doing a redox reaction concept, balancing of the redox reactions in basic medium, you are going to get here 12 over here, 12 over here, 12 over here. The entire reaction is divided by 4. You are going to get P4 plus 3H2O plus 3OH minus gives us 3H2PO4 minus plus PH3. so that I could get 3 OH minus. The answer is going to be option 2 is the correct answer for this question. Students, here is a conversion route mapping question. The above sequence consists of 3 name mode reactions. Let us identify COCl plus HCl. So, I can use Rosenmund reduction PDBaSO4. I can say it is a Rosenmund reduction. And benzaldehyde is converted into toluene. Benzaldehyde converted into toluene, N2H4 and KOH, you are going to get, it is a Wolff-Kishner reduction. And CH3, toluene is converted into benzaldehyde again, that is etard reaction, CrO2Cl2 and H3O plus. So, I could get Wolff-Kishner reduction, etard reduction and Rosenmund reduction, but Stephen reduction is not included in that. So, fourth option is the correct answer for this question. Students, this is the question asking from practical chemistry. The incorrectly matched pair is starch is a liophobic sol and aluminum hydroxide is a liophobic sol. Copper sulfide is a black in color. CrO2Cl2 is going to be reddish brown vapors. So, it is not green. Option 4 is the incorrect match. So, option 4 is the correct answer for this question. Students, it is a fundamental question from the periodic classification, element naming, and you can also claim this from lanthanoids and actinoids. And let us say here the match the list 1 and the list 2. So, atomic numbers are given, you have to pick the element name. Here it is given atomic number 99 is going to be ES Einsteinium and 107 is going to be borium and 109 is going to give the MT and finally 96 is going to give the CM. So, the answer for this question is going to be 1. Here it is a question from the pH calculations, ionic equilibrium matter students. At 298 Kelvin, the pH of the solution is 6. So, the pH is equal to negative logarithm to the base 10 of Hu plus ion configuration, and Hu plus ion configuration is equal to 10 raise 9 negative pH. So, the pH is given as initially 6. So, its Hu plus concentration is going to be 10 rise negative 6. It is going to be 10 rise negative 6. You can say that is a normality one. When you add water in that, hydronium ion concentration is decreased by using N1V1 is equal to N2V2. So, 10 power minus 6 into 1 unit is diluted to, so 100 times. So, H plus ion concentration is going to be diluted. So, N2 is going to be 10 raise negative 8. So, the pH is equal to negative logarithm to the base 10 of 10 raise 8. Negative 8. So, the pH of the solution is going to be 8. So, the answer for this question is going to be 8 is the answer. Option 3 is the correct answer for this question. Students, it is a equation based reaction from the chemical equilibrium. 2xy reversibly gives rise x2 plus y2. So, if we write this Kc expression for this is going to be x2 and y2 and it is going to be xy square. All the values are given, it is going to be given as a Kc is x2 value 3 into 10 rise negative 4 and y2 is given 2.12 into 10 rise negative 4 and xy value is given 1.8 into 10 rise negative 4. It is going to be square. So, on doing so, Kc value is obtained to be 1.9 0.92. Now, if we start, then the degree of decomposition of xy, you have to calculate alpha value. If we start with 0.5 moles of xy initially, so it is said that 2xy gives rise x2 and y2. Initially you take it is 1 and 0 and 0, 1 minus alpha, alpha by 2 and alpha by 2. Kc is equal to 1.92, it is equal to alpha by 2, alpha by 2 and 1 minus alpha whole square. And if you solve the alpha, you are going to get 0.738 is going to be the answer. Option 3 is the correct answer. In the NEET examination, you won't be having any complicated lengthy numericals, but you will be having a straight single concept or a multi-concept questions, and we completed this paper, and finally I can give you output as this paper is still moderate and at the standard of your NEET examination. So we'll meet with more paper discussions. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I welcome you to this physics discussion of Grand Test 4. So now let's begin with the first question what we have over here. The first question is basically from screw gauge, and they're saying the fifth division of the circular scale coincides with the reference line when the ratio is closed. Now what do you mean by this? When the ratio is closed, that means there is nothing between or basically there is no object in the screw gauge. That means they are pointing you towards the zero error, and the zero error what you will have over here is going to be how much? The zero error over here will simply be equal to whatever is n. N is basically they are saying the fifth times the least count. Now how do you calculate the least count? So the next thing they have given is there are 50 divisions on the circular scale, and the main scale moves by 0.5 mm on complete rotation. This is the pitch. So least count over here will be pitch, which is 0.5 whole divided by 50. Please take care of the unit. It will be in mm. And this over here again you will have to find out in mm. Now for a particular observation, the reading on the main scale is 5 mm and 20th division of circular scale coincides with the reference line. So as simple as that, the final reading over here is going to be the main scale reading plus n into the least count minus the zero error, right? So MSR is 5 mm plus n into least count is going to be 20 into the least count is this value 0.5 upon 50, everything is in mm, minus zero error will be 5 into least count, that is 0.5 upon 50. You can take 20 minus 5, so 15 into you will get the answer as 5.15. I hope this is making sense. Let's move ahead for the next one. Which of the following statement are wrong? Force on a particle in uniform motion is 0. Well, obviously when the motion is uniform, the force is 0. This is absolutely correct. So A cannot be the answer. Rejected, rejected. Now 3 and 4 are the only options left for us. Torque on a particle in uniform circular motion is 0. On a uniform circular motion, there is no torque, because if there is going to be torque, there is going to be some alpha, and if there will be some alpha, the omega will be created, and it cannot be a uniform circular motion. That means this is wrong. Okay, this is right. Okay, so it is 0, perfectly right. That means option number C is the correct answer. We don't have to read it also. Two billiard balls of equal masses 30 grams strike a rigid ball with the same speed of 108 kmph. But at different angles. If the ball gets reflected with the same speed, then the ratio of magnitude of impulses imparted to ball A and ball B by the ball will be. See, over here the impulse is basically change in momentum. So initial speed is mu, and after that it is minus mu. So the change is going to be 2 mu, right? Here again you will look over here, but here the velocity is changing only along the x-axis. So it is mu cos 45, and finally again over here the component which is mu cos 45. So it will be 2 times mu cos 45. That will be the impulse. Correct. So I think You can now easily find out for A is to B, just divide them. You will get your answer. It's going to be √2:1. Option number 1 is the correct answer over here. Let's move ahead for the next one. If F represents force, A represents area, and T represents time, then which of the following quantities has the same dimension as that of coefficient of viscosity? See, coefficient of viscosity over here, you can easily see F equals to 6 pi eta R into V. Now, eta dimension obviously can be calculated. This will be equal to force upon R times velocity, right? If you are not remembering. And then after finding out eta, you can very easily express it in terms of force, area and time. I hope there is no problem at all. To be frank, this velocity is again R into T. So Ft upon A. I think option number 2 is the right answer over here, right? The pressure of an ideal gas in a constant volume gas thermometer is 100 centimeter of Hg when placed in melting ice at 0 degree centigrade. When the bulb is placed in a liquid, the pressure becomes 180 centimeter of Hg. The temperature of the liquid is, now they are saying this is constant volume gas temperature. So based on that, you can apply PV equals to nRT, or simple, pressure will be directly proportional to temperature. Okay, so based on that, whatever is the pressure over here, the pressure over here will be equal to rho into G into 100 centimeter, whole divided by, next time the pressure is rho into G into 180. That will be equal to the temperature T1. Don't take it in 0, it will be 273, and you need to find out the temperature. You will solve it, you will get your answer. It will be option number 4, 491.5. Raindrop of mass 1 gram falling from a height of 1 kilometer hits the ground with a speed of 50 meter per second. The work done by the resistive forces. Simple logic, the delta K plus delta U equals to work done by non-conservative forces. So delta K, initially it is falling from rest, and when it is about to fall on the ground, it is having some speed. That means there will be half of m into v square. This is the delta K. Delta U over here, since the object is moving down, the potential energy is reducing. It will be minus mg into h. Height is already given, and that eventually will be the work done by non-conservative force, which they are asking over here. So I hope you can very easily find out the value. The HV is already given. Answer for this, I think, will be option number 2. Negative obviously should be the answer. Yes, 2 is the right answer over here. I hope this is clear. Let's move ahead for the next one. Moment of inertia of a thin uniform ring about a tangent in its plane is I. About a tangent in its plane means this. Okay, its moment of inertia about its normal axis, that means over here. So see, I already know the moment of inertia about this is mr square. Okay, and if it is mr square over here, so about this will be mr square by 2. This is about normal axis, this is about axis which lies on the plane, and over here it is going to be mr square by 2 plus mr square, that means 3 by 2 mr square. So that means this is your I. So obviously this will be 2 by 3 times I, that means 4 will be the right answer. Moving ahead, the orbital speed of a satellite in an orbit of radius 2r around the Earth of radius r is v. If it orbits at a height of 4r above the surface of Earth, then its new orbital speed will be. So orbital speed is equal to under root of gm upon r. Correct? Right? I hope this is clear. Now, at a height of, in an orbit 2r around the Earth of radius r. So this is going to be 2r. This is given as v, and the orbital speed at 4r above the surface of Earth. So that means from the center, the distance will be r plus 4r. That will be 5r. Correct? This is v dash. So v dash over here will be, I think, we will go over here. So it will be root 2 by 5. Correct? Option number 3 is the right answer. Absolutely correct. This will go over here. This will go in the denominator. V dash will go over here. So v dash will be root 2 by 5 times v. 1 mole of a monatomic gas is taken through the cycle ABCD as shown in the figure. The heat exchange of the system in the cycle is. See, this is a cyclic process, right? In a cyclic process, the delta U is always 0. That means whatever is the delta Q, that eventually will be equal to the work done, and that is the area. Now, if it is a clockwise loop, then the area will be positive. So work done will be positive, delta Q will be positive. So reject this, right? And now just calculate its area. So length is V, this is V, plus PV. Option number 4 is the right answer over here. Okay. Assume the Earth to be a sphere of radius r rotating with angular speed omega if g30. Okay, they're talking about reduction in acceleration due to gravity at a latitude theta. So see here the value of g which reduces, so g due to g dash will be g minus omega square r into cos square theta, where this is theta. Clear? So at 30 degree it will be cos square 30, that means g minus omega square r into cos square 30, that is root 3 by 2 whole square, that means 3 by 4. And at this is at 30 degree, and at latitude, that means at equator, it will be g minus omega square r. So the change over here will be how much? G minus g30. So omega square r minus 3 by 4, that means 1 by 4 times omega square by r. Option number 1 is the right answer. I hope this is making sense to you. Next, the displacement x and velocity v of a particle executing SHM are related through expression 3v square equals to 30 minus x square. If the time period of the particle is this much, what is the value of n? See here you need to express it in this manner. V square equals to omega square a square minus x square. Correct. Try to make the coefficient of v as 1. Can you make that possible? Yes, v square can be written as 1 by 3 into root 30 whole square minus x square. That means the amplitude over here is root 30 and the omega over here is 1 by root 3. So time period will be equal to 2 pi whole divided by 1 by root 3, that means root 3. So they are asking what is the value of n when it is written as pi root n. So this 2 will go inside, the value of n will be equal to 12. Option number 2 is the right answer. 3 into 4. When this 2 goes inside, it will become 4. I hope this is clear. Displacement of a particle with time t is given by x equals to 2t cube minus 3t square plus 4. Acceleration of the particle when its velocity is 0. Simple case, sir, differentiated once, the velocity will be equal to 6t square minus 6t, correct? Equated to 0, you will get two values of time. One is 0 and the other value of time will be equal to 1. Right. So acceleration of the particle when its velocity is 0. Differentiate it again. It will be 12t minus 6. Right. So at t equals to 0, its acceleration is minus 6 and at t equals to 1, its acceleration is plus 6. So minus 6 plus 6, obviously acceleration is changing the position, but more or less the magnitude is 6 only. So undoubtedly 2 is the right answer. Moving ahead, the wire of a length 1 meter and radius 1 mm is subjected to a load. The extension is x. The wire is melted and then drawn into a wire of square cross section of side 1 mm. What is the extension under the same load? So here, first of all, you need to make the volume as same. So what is the volume of this cylindrical wire? It will be pi r square h, and that eventually will be equal to, the wire is melted then drawn into a wire of cross section of side 1 mm. So 1 mm is the cross section, that means, okay, let's the side be a square, okay, into the length be L, okay. Now R, this R and this is same. That means the length over here turns out to be pi h. Perfect. Now they are asking what is the extension under the same load. So wire Young's modulus remains same, right? And the extension over here will be equal to delta L will be force upon area, right, into Y into L. So FL upon A into 1, correct? So for the first case, when the length was 1 meter and height over here, the height over here is also 1 meter, right? So basically length is naturally turning out to be pi. So for the first case, when it was x, it was force F into 1 upon area was pi r square into y was y. Now for x dash, it will be how much? It will be force into the length now is pi whole divided by now the area will be a square into y. Divide them. I think F cancels, a square and r are same, they will get cancelled, this will also get cancelled. So x upon x dash is 1 upon pi square, that means x dash is pi square into x, right? That means 1 is the right answer. Moreover, See, option number 2 and 4 you can straight away reject because dimensionally it's not balancing. So the main hustle was between 1 and 3 only. Okay. Moving ahead, an oblique projectile has a range equal to 4 times the maximum height reached in its trajectory, the angle of projection of the particle. See, this is a very standard case between maximum height and range, right? R upon H max, not R upon H max, H max is to R is tan of theta by 4, right? So if range equal to 4 times the maximum height, that means this will become 4 times, so it will cancel by 1:4 only, 4 cancels, tan theta equals to 1, that means theta will be equal to 45 degrees, right? Option number 1 is the right answer. It's a very standard problem and a standard concept note as well. The potential energy of a particle under a conservative force is given by this much, the equilibrium position of the particle is. Now in this question, many of you could do some error considering that in SHM, at mean position, because they're asking the equilibrium position, at mean position my potential energy is 0. You are absolutely wrong if you're considering potential energy to be 0 at mean position. This is not the right statement. Indeed, potential energy is not 0, it is minimum. It is not 0, it is minimum. So minimum can be, sir, minimum can be anything. It can be 0, it can be negative, it can be even positive. Now what is then the key thing? The key thing over here is that force will always be 0. Then only this position will be known as equilibrium position. How to find out force as 0? Simply do minus of du by dx and equate it to 0. If you differentiate it once, it will be 2x minus 3 equals to 0. X will be equal to 3 by 2. This is the position where force is 0, and this is basically the position where potential energy will also be minimum. That means x equals to 1.5 is the right answer. A block of mass m is pulled by a uniform chain of mass small m tied to it by applying a force F at the other end of the chain. The tension at point P, which is at a distance of a quarter of the length of the chain from the free end. See, come on, this is the force. Consider this as a unified system, so acceleration will be equal to F by 2m. Okay, now if the acceleration is F by 2m, consider this portion as different and this portion as different. So this portion entirely will be equal to, this is the block M, and this portion of the chain will be, this is 3L by 4. So total M is in length L. Total M mass of the chain is in length L. So in 3L by 4, the mass is going to be how much? The mass will be equal to 3M by 4. And this is the value of tension over here. And that's the only force which is accelerating this with F by 2M. So simple, T will be equal to mass, which is M plus 3M by 4, which is 7M by 4, into acceleration is F by 2M. Cancel it. 7F by 8. 7F by 8, which is option number 2, is going to be the tension at this point P mentioned over here. Next problem, two identical particles, each of mass small m, are connected to a string, and the system is rotated in a horizontal plane with P as the center of mass. The ratio of tension in the two parts of the string is, okay, so P is the center, right? And this entire system is being rotated. Correct, sir, perfect. So the point is, see, come on, there is going to be, let's say the tension on this is T1, this is going to be T1, and here it will be T2, and here it will be T2, right? Since the entire system is rotating with omega, so this T1 will make the particle rotate with an angular speed omega. That means T1 over here will be equal to m omega square into, what is the length? The length over here is 2L. M omega square into R, that is the centripetal force. And here T2 will be greater than T1. So T2 minus T1 will be equal to m into omega square into the length over here is L. Now do me a favor, take T1 over here, and T1 value already know. So T2 will be equal to 3m omega square into L. Now take the ratio of this, this, this and this. Answer will be 2:3, right? Or 3:2. So option number 3 is the right answer. I hope this is clear to you. Next, the figure below shows the plot of PV upon NT versus P for oxygen gas at two different temperature. Okay, so this is basically a standard graph there in your NCRTs. Now the dotted line corresponds to the ideal gas behavior. Absolutely correct, sir. This dotted line behaves like the ideal gas. Now T1 is greater than T2. How can you justify this? So basically what happens is, as you reduce the temperature, as you reduce the pressure and increase the temperature, the graph will begin to move upward. Am I clear? So here you will notice that this graph is moving towards the dotted line, and that is the reason T1 will be at higher temperature than T2. B is absolutely correct. So this won't be the answer, this won't be the answer. You still have 2 and 3. The value of PV upon NT at the point where the curves meet on y-axis is the same for all gases. The value of PV upon NT where the point where the curve meets on the y-axis is the same for all the gases. Yes, this is also absolutely true. All the gases start from this point only. This is where the gases are starting at zero pressure technically. So this is also right. Option number A, B, C is the correct answer over here. Okay. Moving ahead, an unpolarized light is incident on a plate of refractive index √3, and the reflected light is found to be completely plane polarized. Now obviously this is the scenario of Brewster law, and the angle of incidence will be Brewster angle. The angle of incidence and angle of refraction will be. So see, the point is, what is the value of tan I? Tan I over here, when the light is falling, this tan I over here is basically equal to nu according to Brewster law. Even if let's say you're not remembering it, so what happens is the refracted ray over here is now perpendicular to the reflected ray. So this is I, this will be I, this is 90 minus I, this is I, and this is 90 minus I. So through that also you will get the same answer. Tan of, using Snell's law, sin I into 1 will be equal to nu into sine of 90 minus I. That means tan I will be equal to nu. So I you will get, nu is √3, that means I turns out to be 60. If I turns out to be 60, they are asking angle of incidence and refraction. So 90 minus I will be 30. Option number 1 is the right answer over here. The graph that represents the variation of mean kinetic energy of molecules with temperature T degree centigrade is. Mean kinetic energy of molecules with temperature T. Mean kinetic energy with temperature T. So, okay, T degree centigrade, right? That means when temperature, see, the molecules stop moving at 0 Kelvin, but at 0 degree centigrade, still the molecules have energy, and yes, they will have some kinetic energy over here. So, because it is in T degree centigrade, not Kelvin, right? So, when it is 0, the energy shouldn't be 0. When the temperature is 0, basically the line where the x-axis is cutting, that shouldn't be over here. Am I clear? So it should be at this point. It should be at this point. And moreover, the RMS speed over here is under root of 3 RT upon m naught, correct? So the mean kinetic energy will be half of m into V RMS whole square. That means it will be directly proportional to temperature. K will be directly proportional to temperature. So based on that also, there will be a straight line, not a curved one, and at 0 there it should have some energy. Option number 2 is the right answer over here. Next one, the current element of strength √2 into 10 to the power minus 4 ampere meter is placed at the corner A of a square ABCD. Okay, of side 10 centimeter. Magnetic field induction at a point which is at the diagonal opposite corner of the square due to length element is. See, Biot-Savart law says that the dB over here will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I into dl cross r upon r cube. Correct? I into A. I into A. Okay, sir, perfect. So they are asking you to find out the magnetic field induction at the point which is diagonally opposite over here. That means this will be the distance. Here the element is kept. So you need to put this value over here. Am I clear? And this I into dl, what you are seeing is basically √2 into 10 to the power minus 4. 1 r will cancel this because obviously it is perpendicular, right? No, it's not perpendicular. So this r vector is like this. So there is some angle also, and the angle is 45 degree. I hope this is clear. So when you will do dl cross r, it will be mu naught upon 4 pi I dl into r into sine of 45 whole divided by r cube. So 1 r will cancel this by square. R you can easily find out if the side is given as 10 centimeter, right? So this r square this will be root 2 times into 10 centimeter. So that value can be placed over here. Ideal value is given root 2 into 10 raised to the minus 4 ampere meter, as you can see. So ideal is given, and mu naught upon 4 pi is also given 10 raised to the power minus 7. So based on that, I think you'll be able to find out the answer over here. Okay, just keep the values, all the values are given, and option number 1 will be matching 0.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 9 Weber per meter square. Okay. Now this question, I think many of you might have done error because we normally don't remember from where these field lines are, or from where these, what is the source. But one of them looks very much similar, and that over here is, I'll just move the page upward. Yes. So one which is quite common is electrons in atoms emit photons when they move from higher to a lower energy level. Right? Yes. This more or less signifies towards light, visible light. No doubt it also stands for infrared also. Infrared rays are also emitted in the P fund and the later part of the spectral series, but it more or less signifies light. And C representing 2 is only available in option number 2. So I think based on one only you will be able to answer it, which is the right answer. Okay. The magnetic susceptibility of a paramagnetic substance at minus 173 degree centigrade is 1.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 2. To have the susceptibility 0.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 2, the change in temperature in degree centigrade is. So magnetic susceptibility is inversely related to temperature, right? So 1.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 whole divided by 0.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 will be equal to, the temperature is this T, and this temperature is minus 173 plus 273, that will be 100 Kelvin. So if you will find out, this goes by 3, this goes over here, T turns out to be 300. Okay, now they're asking the change. So from 100 to 200, the change is 200. That means option number 3 is the right answer. Then a series LCR circuit has a resistance 30 ohm, an inductance 2.5 Henry, and a capacitance 5 millifarad. If the angular frequency of AC fed is 20 radian per second, the power factor is. A series LCR circuit has a resistance of 30 ohm and an inductance of 2.5 Henry. Okay, it has a resistance of 30 ohm, an inductance this much, and capacitance. If the angular frequency of AC fed is 20 radian per second, the power factor will be. So the power factor in this scenario will simply be equal to R upon Z, right? And this is a series LCR circuit, so R upon under root of XL minus XC whole square plus R square. Through this you will be able to find out the power factor. Now R value is given, XL and XC is not given. So XL and XC can be calculated. XL is L omega, the value of L is given, and omega is this 2.5 into 20, which will be 50, correct? And XC is 1 upon C omega, which is also given 1 upon 5 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 into 20. 520 is 100, this will go by 10, right? So 50 minus 10 is 40 square, R is 30 square. Obviously this will be 50 square. That means under root 50 square is 50. So R is 30 upon 50, that is 3 by 5. Cos phi is 3 by 5, that means phi equals to 53 degree, or basically cos phi equals to 3 by 5, that is 0.6. Option number 4 is the right answer. I hope this is clear. It's a standard 3, 4, 5 Pythagorean triplet. The resistance of 2 ohm is connected across one gap of a meter bridge. Okay, and an unknown resistance greater than 2 ohm is connected. So here is the case, this is 2, this is our unknown, this is connected over here, the galvanometer is there, this length is L, this is 100 minus L. Okay, when these resistance are interchanged, the balance point shifts by 20 centimeter. Okay, so balance point will shift where? Will it shift leftward? Will it shift rightward? Obviously it will shift rightward because this has more value, right? So 2 upon R is first of all L upon 100 minus L. And in the next case, when this will be there, this will be shifted over here. So this will shift further by 20. So this will become 100. This will shift further over here, correct? So this now length will be L plus 20. And this will be 100 minus L minus 20. So this will be 80 minus L, correct? If you add both of them, the net answer is going to be 100 only, right? So R is to 2 now will be L plus 20 whole divided by 80 minus L, correct? You solve both of them, you will be able to find out the value of L. Once you have got the value of L, you can now very easily find out the value of R. You just will have to solve using both these steps. I hope I am making sense to you, okay? Answer will be 1, 3. Moving ahead for the next one. The given Wheatstone bridge shows no deflection in the galvanometer. And moreover, one more thing you can do. If you're finding difficulty over there, then pick any one of them. First pick the 3 one. So 2 is to 3. 2 is to 3. How the length should be distributed, and 3 is to 2. How the length should be distributed. Correct? L1 is to 100 minus L1. And here L2 is to 100 minus L2. And basically now you need to notice, you will be able to find out this value of L2. And now you need to notice whether this L2 is greater than L1 by 10 centimeter. If that is the case, sorry, by 20 centimeter. If that is the case, then 3 is the right answer. Okay. In the given Wheatstone bridge shows no deflection in the galvanometer joined between the points A and B. If the EMF of the battery is 160, then the current through resistance R will be. See, simple. If the EMF of the battery in the given shows no deflection. Okay, so simple point, 100 is to 400 will be equal to 200 is to 4. Right, so this R also should be 200, because then only it will be 100 is to 400. That will be a Wheatstone bridge. Now, if that is the case, then how much current will be passing? So it is 160. 160 will flow using this, and it will flow using this. So this is 200. This is 800. So how much current will be distributed? Current is inversely related to R. That means the current through this will be depending upon it. That means 800 whole divided by 200 plus 800 is 1000 into the total current over here. Or what you can do is, no need for this. Simple, you need to find out the current through this, right? This is 160. So 160 will be across this combination also. So 160, the I will be equal to 160 whole divided by 200. This will be the current. Now further divided by 2. If you further divide it by 2, you will get the value. So this 2 will cancel this by 40. 0 will cancel 0.4. Option number 3 is the right answer over here. Okay, I hope this is making sense. Next, choose the incorrect statement. The electric line of forces entering into a Gaussian flux surface provide negative flux, right? So A is right, that means reject this. Then maximum are in favor of D. So D is obviously the right, this is obviously wrong, okay? We just need to check C and B also. Charge cubes placed at the center of a cube, the flux through all the faces will be same. Exactly, this is right. In a uniform electric field, the net flux through a closed Gaussian surface containing no net charge is 0. This is absolutely, only D is the right answer, option number 1. When YDSC is carried out in a liquid, the fifth bright fringe lies at a point on the screen where the third dark fringe was lying when the medium was air. The refractive index of the liquid is. Now, try and understand this thing. See, y equals to delta x capital D upon small d, right? This delta x equals to n lambda. This becomes n lambda capital D upon small d. And for bright, it turns out to be 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Okay. Now they're saying the fifth bright fringe, that means the 5 times. Now since it is kept in a medium, in a liquid, so it will be lambda by nu, 5 lambda by nu, capital D upon small d. This distance is equal to the third dark fringe. So third dark fringe over here will be how much? So the first one arises at n equals to 0, correct, which is lambda by 2. The second one arises at n equals to 1, which is 3 lambda by 2. The third one arises at n equals to 0, 1 second, 2 is third. So that means 5 lambda capital D upon 2D. That means refractive index is turning out to be 2 based on this. Okay, clear. The ionization potential of each atom is minus 13.6, photon of energy 12.75. Okay, here you need to understand and remember what are the energy levels of different shells. So minus 13.6 minus 3.4 eV, then it is minus 1.5, correct? This is n equals to 1, this is n equals to 2, right? This is n equals to 3 divided by 9. This is n equals to 4, and at n equals to 4 you have minus 0.85. Correct? Perfect. So basically the electron is jumping from here to here because the difference between them is 12.75. Okay. Now from 4, how many spectral lines are possible? So number of spectral lines are n into n minus 1 by 2. So 4 3s are 12, 12 by 2 is 6. Option number 2 is the correct answer over here. Moving ahead for the next one, a ray of light is incident at an angle 60 degree on one face of the prism of angle 30. The emergent ray is, see, it's a simple formula, del equals to I plus E minus A. Now I is given as 60, A is given as 30, this is 30, that means emergent ray is 0. That means angle of emergence is 0, that means the light ray is straight away coming like this. So angle made with the surface is 90 degree. Option number 2 is the right answer. A comb run through one's dry hair attracts small bits of paper. Okay. When a plastic comb rubbed against dry hair gets charged by friction, and when it is brought close to paper, the molecules of paper gets polarized by the charged coulomb. It's not polarized, it's basically through induction. The charges come on the other end. Okay. So both A and R are true, and R is not the right explanation. Moving ahead, select the correct truth table for the system of 4 NOR gates shown in the figure given below. So here you just need to keep the values, keep A equals to 0. Here 0 will come. Look at them, you can just eliminate. So here you have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So let's say you have 0 as input. So here it will be 0, and again it will be 0. NOR gate, so it is going to be 1, 1 output, 1 comes over here. 1 plus 0 is 1, not of that will be 0, correct? Same thing happening over here, 1 will go, 0 will go, the same output, this is going to be 0, and 0, 0, again a NOR gate, that will be 1. So obviously this is the right answer, this is the right answer, second and fourth will be rejected, right? Now look at the other one will help you, right? 0, 1, so here output will be 0, here it will be 0, here it will be 1, here it will be 1. Now 0, 1 is 1, not of that will be 0. Here 0 comes, here 0 comes, 0 plus 0 is 0, here it will be 1. Here it will be 1 plus 0 is 1, not of that is 0. Then 1 is 0 or is 1, not of that is 0. That means option number 3 is the right answer and not 1. So just based on 2, you will be able to find out the right answer. 3 is the correct answer over here. Moving ahead, the Maxwell equation is a statement of modified Ampere circuital law. I hope this is clear. Second one. The binding energy per nucleon for C12 is 7.68 and C13 is this much. The energy required to remove a neutron is simple. What you need to do is 7.47 into 13 minus 12 into 7.68. Whatever is the energy difference, that is going to be the energy required. Option number 3 will be matching, 4.95. A closely wound solenoid 80 centimeter long has 5 layers of windings of 400 turns. So there is 400 turns, one layer, and then another layer of 400 turns, then another layer of 400 turns. So basically if somebody is asking you how many turns are there, so it will be 5 into 400. That will amount to 2000 turns are there. Correct. And if somebody is asking a number of turns per unit length, so it will be 2000 whole divided by 80 centimeter. Obviously in meter you will have to keep. The magnitude of B inside the solenoid. So again see, the radius is 1.8, radius will be 0.9, it is very small. So you can simply say mu naught Ni is the right answer. Mu naught Ni is 4.2 10 to the minus 7, and you can calculate from here, and I value is already given. Okay. So along the axis, yes, along the axis of the solenoid, and whatever is the magnitude, 2 will be the right answer. 2.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 2. Moving ahead, a current I flows through the length of an infinitely long, straight, thin walled pipe. Then the magnetic field. See, throughout the circumference the current is going, okay, not inside. They are saying a thin walled pipe. Thin walled pipe means, again, it's a hollow pipe only. So at any point inside, the magnetic field will be 0. You can calculate using Ampere circuital law only. There is no I enclosed, magnetic field line will be 0. Moving ahead, the lens of power 16D is used as a simple microscope in order to obtain maximum magnification. At what distance from the lens should a small object be placed? See, from this you can very easily find out the focal length. Okay, so the focal length over here, f will be 1 upon 16D, correct? And 1 upon 16 will be in meter. Just take it in centimeter. So 100 by 16 is 25 by 4. This is the focal length. Now we should be at, for maximum magnification, we should be at, so obviously at minus d, which is minus 25 centimeter. So using this, using lens formula, can you not find out the value of u? It is as simple as that. Option number 1 will be the right answer. Okay. Use lens formula, all the three F and V are given. You can easily calculate the value of U. A PN junction diode can be used as LED, yes. Rectifier, yes. Transformer, no. Voltage regulator, yes. A, B and D. A, B and D, option number 4 is the right answer. Next, stopping potential, slope of, okay, stopping potential is how much? So stopping potential is K max upon A. A stands for 4. A stands for 4 only in, okay, here also, no problem. Then next is, so what is common over here? A stands for 4 and D is for 1. So stop checking for D, only check for B or C. Only check for B or C. Slope of stopping potential versus frequency. Sir, stopping potential versus frequency is h nu minus phi is equal to E into stopping potential, right? So Y, you ignore E over here, you write E and you write E. So Y is equal to mx, this is mx, this is C and this is Y. So M over here stands for h by E. So the slope is h by E. B stands for 3. So B stands for 3 in option number 1. That means 1 is the correct answer over here. I hope this is clear. When magnetic flux through a coil changes by 2 Weber, the variation induced current in the coil with time will be. See, through this coil you can very easily find out the value of charge, which is integration I dt. Right. Now how much is the value of charge? So see, magnetic flux, which is delta phi by delta t, is equal to EMF, right, which can be written as I into R. Multiplying this delta t over here, so delta phi equals to the charge into R. So charge you can calculate, resistance, and that will be equal to delta phi. So 2 upon half of 4 into 0.1. So 0.2 is the charge, right, and flux is 2. So that means R will be 10. 1 is the right answer. Okay, perfect. Next, the focal length of the lenses of an astronomical telescope are 50 centimeter and 5 centimeter. This is objective and this is eyepiece. The length of the telescope when the image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision. So length over here is FO plus FE into D upon FE plus D. I hope you can very easily find out the formula using this. FO is 50. This will be 5 into 25 upon 5 plus 25. Option will be 4. Option 4 is the right answer. Please check it whether 4 is the right answer or not. But formula will be this one only. Next is the given graph shows the variation of velocity versus displacement. Which of the following graphs given below correctly represents the variation of acceleration with displacement? See, velocity over here is reducing. And this is a v versus x graph. So acceleration is v dv by dx. Now v dv by dx, the velocity over here is negative. This is slope, right? So dv by dx is negative, right? That means acceleration will be, and velocity value is throughout positive only. So that means this value is positive, but the slope is negative. That means acceleration overall will be negative. So acceleration can be this, it cannot be this, it can be this. Moreover, the slope is constant throughout, but the value of v is changing. This is changing, this is constant. That means acceleration will also change. It will also variable. So 3 is also incorrect. Done. Now, if you notice carefully, the slope is same, but the value of v is getting close to 0. That means eventually at this point the velocity should be equal to 0 at x naught. But if you look at this graph, here at x naught the value of acceleration is not turning out to be 0, but over here at x naught the value of acceleration is turning out to be 0. Option number 1 is the right answer. This is a JEE main PYQ as well. Okay, the given figure shows an iron core transformer assumed to be 100% efficient. Okay, the ratio of the secondary turns to primary turn is 1:20. Secondary to primary is 1:20, right? A 240 is supplied to primary. So can I calculate the VS? Yes. 240 is to VS will be equal to, secondary you have 1 and primary you have 20. So this cancels by 12. VS is 12 volt. Done. Now, they are asking the current in primary coil. Can you calculate the IS? Yes, IS will be equal to 12 by 6, which is 2 ampere. And now since there is 100% efficient transformer, therefore IP into VP will be equal to IS into VS. So IP I need to find out. VP is 240, IS is 2 and VS is 12. I think this will go by 10. I will be equal to 0.1. Option number 1 is the correct answer over here. Okay. A spherical conductor of radius capital R is given a charge Q. Find the difference in electric potential between the following 2 points. R by 2 from the center of sphere, R by 2 from sphere outside the sphere. R by 2 from the center of the sphere is going to be the same potential, which will be K capital Q by R, that at the center. And R by 2 from the surface outside the sphere, here it will be equal to KQ upon R plus R by 2, that means 3R by 2. Correct. So the difference will be how much? 2KQ by 3R, that will be KQ by 3R, if I'm not wrong. Option number 4. KQ by 3R, the difference between both of them. Next, last problem. A uniform wire with a resistance 24 ohm is bent in the following shape. The effective resistance is. Now see, looking at the dimension, this is an equilateral triangle. So 5, 5, 5 and this is also 5. That means break this into 4 components. 4 components will be 6, 6, 6 and 6. Correct? So this is 6, this is 6, this is 6 and this is 6. Now between A and B, so here both of them in series will be 12. 12 into 6 upon 12 plus 6. So this is 72 whole by 18. Right? Now 18 4s is this. So this is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. Option number 2 is the right answer over here. I hope you have understood this. Okay. So I think the paper overall was solvable in a span of 1 hour. I myself have solved almost all the questions, got to the answer also. So I think this paper was lesser than the moderate scale. I hope you have understood all the questions which we have solved. We'll connect in the next grand test discussion. Till then, take care everyone. Bye-bye. All the best and thank you so much.